Alright guys, last session you were introduced to a new handler by the name of Regulator Corin. He seemed to be a lot more hands-on in training you guys, more so than Hardreef at the very least. He led you guys north on a seemingly an adventure without a goal at the time, but mainly just training you all, and he led you to the Monastery of Zahn, where he focused on Maw and Joden to undergo a trial and try and unleash some of their potential, as it were. The trial involved them going through a dark cavern and overcoming a trial by combat versus shadows of their own doubts, and they came through successful. As you all are outside this cavern, you can hear the sounds of them exerting themselves in what sounds like combat, but you don't hear much else. It's just sounds of them swinging and shooting, and there's not much. Eventually the darkness in the cave subsides as you can see them standing in a fairly small cave. They turn and begin exiting the cave, and all the priests that were lined up out the entrance facing away now turn to them and greet them back into the monastery. Nanis, who is the leader of the monastery, a bugbear almost 8 feet in height with long arms, he greets you both back to the monastery and says, "It is now tradition that those who have surpassed the trial be granted a name. Maw, you have already received your name, but you have led us to another of our brothers, who shall now receive a name of his own. Approach, Joden, and receive your name." He gestures for you to kneel down. All the monks are also bowing in their position.
I'll slowly walk up.
Okay.
If I kneel, I'm too small.
If you and you say that in character?
Yeah.
He kind of chuckles.
I can't reach that.
And he's like, "Well, it is a bit uncustomary to welcome one not of our own training, but Corin has seen something in you, and, well, you have surpassed the trial. The name shall be bestowed upon you, the Shadow of Zahn."
I like it.
And they'll bow in unison. Go forth, and in your own way spread the light of Zahn, brother.
Okay, but I'll probably use my regular name. Thanks.
The monks welcome you all to a celebratory feast. It's not very lavish. It's 90% rice and kelp and barnacles and other, seafood complemented by rice. Maw is just loving this. It's very briny in taste. Corin explains to you guys that now that you guys have had a bit of training to kind of catch up your skills, we're going to go ahead and focus on the actual bounty hunting aspect of your careers now. There's a region that has been experiencing troubles in dark magic. Rather than give you the little bit of details that he's received so far, he'd rather kind of toss you into the fray and see how you all work in terms of investigation skills, tracking down sources, and he'll definitely be there to assist you all should you have any questions or any dangers arise. But this is largely a kind of a pop quiz for you guys, or a test rather. He explains it's going to be probably several weeks before you guys are able to accomplish this and help this region out. Stepping out of character for a minute, as far as the calendar for this world goes, we are going to be using a 10-day calendar. So instead of weeks, it's a series of 10 days. Each month is 30 days, and it's broken up by a few different holidays that take place outside of those 30-day windows. So mid-summers, mid-winters, things like that. I'll post the information on the Discord later, so we're going to be caught up with that. The months in this world, the calendar itself is named the Calendar of Cobalt, after Cobalt, the god of change. Each of the months are named after a specific god. I will post all of that in the Discord so you can familiarize yourself. But so that you know now, we are now entering the month of Triton, which is the equivalent of April in our world. So, very easygoing weather, lots of rain, showers, and Corin explains to you guys that he will not be providing access to a lot of his materials that you've been using up until now. So as far as tents and whatnot, you guys will need to find your own tents and everything, because right now everyone's been borrowing the regulator's equipment, and it's time that you guys grew up and got your own stuff. A short boat ride from the monastery to the west coast, a few days travel to the west. You guys come across a new region known as the Falcon Highlands. This is a very arable area of land. Corin explains that there's a major town here that's cropped up over the past few decades, managing exports from the nearby villages. It's proving to shape up to be quite a farming powerhouse in terms of a bunch of grains, exporting beers, and a few other minor exports. Let's go ahead and flip the big map, I guess.
Big one? Oh.
Yes. Go ahead and hand me the one. I'll put that aside for now.
Oh, this big map.
Yeah, the big one.
Careful.
Big man.
So this will largely be the map you guys will be working off of for the foreseeable future, at least. This is a map. This is Corin physically handing you a map that he's been working on the past few weeks. He explains, "I've been working on this for a while. It's purely off of memory, so there might be some details in error, but this is a pretty good layout, if I do say so myself. I visited here a few years back. I don't imagine that much has changed." He points out major locations. Near the center there is the town of Falcon. That's the largest city around. Population 1,000 to 1,500 or so. The rest of the outlying structures denoted by the various houses-looking structures. Smaller villages that each have their own major exports that almost always passes through Falcon in some way or another. He's not pointing out the names of all this stuff. He wants you to try and learn to gather information yourselves. If you guys need to draw on the map to denote things, you are more than welcome to do so. Just let me know. Obviously, blue lines are rivers, brown lines are roads. I hope the trees and hillsides are fairly readable, but if anyone has any questions on how to read this map, let me know. Compass is at the bottom left over there. And that denotes heavy forests of difficult terrain generally, where single trees are much thinner patches of forest.
Like this double squiggly line?
That is grassy hillsides. Brown would be rockier hillsides, and mountain in the center in that particular location.
So, where would you say they keep the stone and the brick?
Where they keep the stone and the brick?
Like I see the wheat, the sheep,
Yeah,
the
so
wood.
they don't do a lot of their own stone exports, but there's going to be a town up in the corner right next to you, actually.
You have to get the port. and trade
Oh,
for it.
gotcha.
So,
Are they stone birds?
but you guys end up traveling to the town of Falcon there in the center, where Regulator Corin goes on to explain, alright, I'm going to give you a few pointers to get you started. So, as I've noted before, we're coming up on the rainy season. You're going to want to pick up some tents. Should you be caught out in the wilderness when it's raining, it's going to make for a long night and a long day the next day. As far as capturing bounties, now he holds up a sheet of papers. I have the list of official bounties here, but I want to see how you guys do from scratch. Should you catch anyone that is actually listed as an official bounty, I'll be in contact. I'll let you know when you guys are on the right track. And when you capture the actual bounties, obviously traveling to the Sorcerium is going to be quite the distance, and there's a lot of work to be done here, and we don't have time for that. So the Sorcerium has established contracts with some local sheriffs to hold prisoners on our behalf, where you will receive your compensation once things have been processed through the Sorcerium. So, Be sure to check in with the local sheriff. Make sure your presence is known so they know to cooperate with you. In terms of what you're allowed to do and not do, officially speaking, you're not full-fledged regulators yet. You're simply regulators in training, part of Heretic Squad under my supervision, but I prefer the hands-off approach. Killing is frowned upon except in self-defense. That goes for dark magic users as well. Unless they have a bounty on them or they are currently attacking you or innocents, better to play it safe. Because we don't want to get off on the wrong foot here. This land is kind of on the borders of human and dwarven lands, and we're still negotiating all the laws and all the boring stuff to have full reason to go out murdering whoever we deem evil as ever part of the plane here. Healing potions are an invaluable resource. I am granting you each one from my personal stash. So he hands out a potion of healing to each of you. These are going to be a valuable resource for all of you. I highly recommend you have at least a couple on hand whenever possible. And I see we have someone who has a healing kit on their person. Perhaps they could pick up some supplies and craft some themselves if they have know-how, but you'll have to ask around, find a local herbalist, perhaps do some research. And last but not least, and he holds up a small stone that has kind of a face carved on it. Is there anyone who can tell me what this is? Anyone?
It's a stone with a face carved on it.
You're not wrong, but you're not altogether right either. Stab. Is anyone proficient in Arcana?
See if I'm a failure like Etienne was.
Definitely not this guy.
We know the answer to that.
He's a failure.
Oh god, hold on. Yeah, I forget which part.
The wizard.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Okay. This is a sending stone. It is paired with, and he pulls up another stone with a face carved in it that looks very similar. What it will allow you to do is once a day communicate with me using magic across any distance. I will receive your message and I will be able to immediately reply. However, it can only be used once per day. So we'll allot that to be how often you're allowed to ask for advice in your hunt. So,
What happens if he goes to pick up?
I guess we die.
well, then you're just shit out of luck. Who will be holding the sending stone?
I'll hold it, I'll
hold it.
And he says, very well, and he
Rather a
tosses
year
it
over
over
there?
to you. And you catch it, and
It's
you're
magic.
holding the stone, you put it in your pack.
Yes, so-
And you can go ahead and search for sending stone on the app, and that'll add onto your sheet as well. Are there any questions before I set you out on your own into the scary big world of dark magic? Yes, ma'am.
Is there any place I can find barnacle stew here?
Barnacle stew. I don't know about barnacle stew, but there is a fishing hamlet not too far to the east. Ask the locals. I'm sure you'll find something to sate your palate.
Thank you.
Would Straith happen to look at this map and feel like this is a pretty good map? Like, what anything about this map stand out to Straith? Being that
In terms of what exactly?
I don't know, maybe an oddity, something.
Something seems left out.
Where's the gold to
Make
mine from?
an intelligence check for me.
More than
10?
10? I mean, nothing stands out to you. You can tell it's a pretty bare map. There's a lot of
Wait,
points
hold
of
on.
interest, perhaps.
What was your base roll?
9.
9? I'm gonna replace it. Can I replace it?
I'm gonna say yeah. I'm gonna say yeah this time. I think. Something out of character, real quick. I was thinking too. Probably what we'll end up doing is obviously you can't do this for things that you aren't present for because it denotes that specifically in there. And then someone else brought up a point of certain things that, for example, if someone's thinking and says nothing out loud, that
Okay.
you would know nothing about it.
Yeah,
but in this
that's-
case, I'm gonna allow because he's kind of poring over the map and something like that. So go ahead and replace it.
It's a 14 now.
And so it makes your total roll
15, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so You note, as far as oddities for a map, usually maps are labeled with location names. Obviously, Corin drew this one up himself off memory. So you can tell it's, the roads probably don't look as normal as they would in certain areas. There's a lot of points of interest drawn on the map, but again, no details. So you note here what appears to be, is obviously the drawing's a lot better than mine, but there appears to be some type of statue that shows a character who has a shield in one hand and a sword embedded behind it, and he's almost as though he's standing guard in front of the woods. Over near the top, near that random cable floating above the surface, is there's a tower of sorts marked what looks to be in grassy highlands and off in the distance. There is what appears to be a ruined city, just ruins of something that was built over there some time ago. Those are the largest points of interest you see that aren't marked, other than the other towns. You can obviously make out details of the other things. The various trees you can tell, you can see the yellow marks around certain towns which denote cultivated farmland and things like that.
Okay.
You can tell that he even took the time to draw the palisade around Falcon, the main town, so you can tell it has actual walls built around it. But it's a largely basic map.
Gotcha. Roger that.
What was I supposed to search for?
Sending stone.
Sending.
Are there any other questions?
Specifically, the footnote does not work for one offer.
All right. I will meet you all back here at the inn here in Falcon. Let's say a 10 days time. Today is, and he consults his little sundial on his wrist. One of Jesse's favorite shows. Says, today is the 3rd, so I will meet you all back here on the 13th.
That's a good.
And he kind of gestures over to the nearby tavern, known as the Winch. He says, "Good luck. Make me proud, regulators." And he just walks right at the gate of town. He's left you all standing near the gate, and
Here, this gate.
yeah,
This town. Which way did he go?
marked out south. You guys came along that road from the south,
That
straight
way.
south.
And I
Yeah.
thought he walked into a tavern.
No, he gestured at the town,
Oh.
saying that he'll meet us here.
Oh, okay. Tavern, you get drunk.
Master Quentin, what is a wench?
Oh, son.
Why don't you take this one?
Oh, please, fellow brother, Shadow and Sun.
His mother.
I think
His mother was a
I think
wench.
Scrape would be a better person to describe a wench.
Please, Scraith, what is a wench?
It's used to turn things.
Perfect description.
Yeah.
You turn the kegs on.
Yes.
Makes sense. Thank
Raising
you.
heavy loads.
Yes.
Some of the biggest barrels you ever did see.
So guys, what are we gonna do? Where are we going? How are we gonna find some evil magic users? Or any magic users?
I could climb the tallest point of the town again and find something.
Let's find some guards and ask them first. But let's keep that in our pocket for now.
Of course.
Are there any guards around?
Yeah. So near the gate, they don't seem to be standing at attention quite as you'd expect a proper guard to be, but they're kind of loitering about the gate. They seem to be wearing decent chainmail. It appears to be embroidered with the sigil of an eagle. Looks like it's the town's marker at the very least. And they see you all come in as you're approaching, and the first thing they do is, you can tell they're kind of looking around like you're a bit of an odd group. They're probably not used to seeing such a mix of non-humans at the very least. One of them holds her hand up and says, state your business if you would.
Are we outside the town or inside the town?
It's kind of like right near the main gates. Corin kind of dropped you off, like right near the main gate. It's a large open area where there's lots of traffic coming in. There's actually a lot of different carts coming in, going out. So it's not heavily monitored. They're just kind of keeping an eye for any trouble more than anything else.
I'm just looking for. Are we on the outside, approaching them towards coming in, or did we already pass through the gate and we're inside the town and approaching them from inside?
We'll say you guys are going into the town.
Okay.
Straight kind of walks up to the guard, puts his arm around the guard's shoulder, and like,
He definitely tenses up. And
he's like, good sir, we are simply here as humble passengers through the village, looking merely for some unsavory characters. If you happen to have seen any, we'd love to know about them.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Hotfoot
10.
takes out 2 silver and sort of, just
Kind of
tosses them in his hand, jingles them in his
Okay,
hand.
kind of like perhaps a bribe is in this.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, go ahead and make it with advantage. So go ahead and roll again. 14. He kind of relaxes a bit. He's like, I'm worried I might be looking at some of them now, but by unsavory types, you wouldn't happen to be talking about your everyday bandits, would you?
I wouldn't so much call them everyday bandits, but
We heard
you've
been having some problems with magic.
yes.
Well, and he kind of looks nervously over to his friend to the side. He says, "You should probably speak to the sheriff regarding that. We've had some troubles about town, but he doesn't much like us discussing
No,
it."
say no more. Say no more. I think I understand. No worries. We don't mean to cause trouble here. Like I said, we're just simple passers through.
And he says, "Well, we're happy to have you. I must say, I've not seen such a." And he kind of looks around at all your gears. It's such an armed group around such a peaceable area. I am going to have to insist. And he pulls out a handful of red strings that you will place some peace bonds on your weapon, just for good faith, of course.
Absolutely.
And out of character, peace bonds are a simple tie you put around your weapon that keeps you from easily drawing your weapon. So mechanically speaking, it just takes an action to undo the peace bond or break it to draw your weapon out. It's more of a good show of faith than anything else actually inhibiting. So
It's just the weapons that are visible.
yeah. So if anyone has any hidden weapons, let me know now. Otherwise, it will be assumed that all weapons are peace bonded in their sheaths. Tartok, with your monk robes, you put your hand.
To be fair, it's like,
Quick not my
Please
weapon.
tie this for.
yes.
My daggers wouldn't be hidden, I would assume, right? Maybe not.
Well, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Because this is an assumed thing. So if this is something Straith does, that they're hidden. So then what we'll do is go ahead and roll a sleight of hand, because that's the skill you use to kind of hide things on your person. And since dagger's a light weapon, you do it with advantage. It's an easy thing to hide. And
Oh, you're saying when I get to that point or right now?
well, no, we're doing it now because this is the
Oh,
point
yeah.
where it becomes relevant.
So 15.
15? Yeah, the guards aren't exactly patting you down. They've got a lot on their minds, just kind of concerned in general. So the daggers are hidden, and then did you have any other weapon? You have the rapier, right?
Yeah, I could
Off to this side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So peace
yeah.
bond the rapier. Okay, they seem satisfied with that. Everyone else,
sure.
I will hide my dagger as well.
you hide your dagger as
I
well.
rolled an 11.
What, an 11.
Yeah.
Um,
I rolled with advantage. That was the second one.
Oh, I was like,
Okay. Yeah. He doesn't notice the dagger. As long as everyone's got a weapon to do, then they're not really. They see you with the beard, I assume.
yeah.
And they're like,
Did you shave it off?
and they do seem nervous and like,
can I tie it around my beard?
they're like, well, we just ask that people are a little high strung when it comes to magic these days.
please.
keep any displays.
Master Quentin is a child of the light. He follows Zahn in all that he does.
That's great. If you could just please keep this place magic, whether they're good-natured or not, just keep them subtle at the very least.
Good sir, you have my word. I will keep an eye on these boys. We shall not be any trouble to you.
Is it known that those things talk?
For the most part, yes. They are civilized creatures.
Such a booming voice.
You know I can hear you.
Don't be a dick.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend. I've never seen what are you?
He's a bird.
Scrape.
He's a scrape.
He's great.
A scrape. He's like, oh, never met a scrape before.
At your service.
Says, well, allow me to be the first to welcome you all to Falcon.
And the sheriff would be located where?
Oh, the sheriff, yes. He's going to be off towards the western side of town. You'll see we have, it's the only one with a guard tower attached to it. You can't miss it, about 2 blocks to the west. Just head to the market square, go west from there.
Can I buy you a drink for your troubles? You've been such a help to us.
I never turned down an offer from a new friend.
Absolutely.
But I can't leave my post at the time, but perhaps this evening I'll meet you at the winch.
Sounds great. Well, what's your name again? I did not catch your name.
My name is Jorgen.
Jorgen. Fantastic, Jorgen. We shall see you tonight.
Sounds fantastic, and he seems to be kind of floating to the other guard who was more disinterested in the conversation, and he's kind of sitting there all proud of himself. As you guys kind of enter the town proper, you see there's been a lot of carts carrying trade goods, mostly grains, some with fish. Just a lot of traffic in general. You can tell that this is definitely the central hub of trade in the region. The town looks fairly nice. Most people here can make a modest living. There's maybe probably nothing like as far as nobility around here in terms of living styles, but definitely a quaint, nice place to live. What would you guys have to do?
Shall we head to find the sheriff? Seems like a good place to start. I don't know that we'll get the best information there, but it'll get us a starting place.
Yes.
Did he seem? Did this Jorgen fellow seem like? Do we have any reason to doubt him sending us to the sheriff? Like perhaps we could tell that's a bad idea.
What is your insight bonus?
+3.
So you can, from what you picked up, you can tell that he seems nervous because, or rather embarrassed almost, because there's clearly a problem around the general region, and the town's guard has not been enough to handle it, and he's a bit ashamed of this, is what it feels like. He's annoyed to the sheriff because the sheriff is trying to keep spirits high, so he's trying to keep people from talking about it in general.
So yeah, we should definitely go see him. Yes,
So he
let's
head,
go see him.
head to the east. He said it was the sheriff's office to the east.
Still off to the west.
West, to the west. Can't.
Everyone's
Again, -1 intelligence. Was just reasonable, proper roleplay.
Yeah, you save the southwest, you walk to the east, and then turn you back towards the
Said right, you
hot
just pick
foot
them
this
up.
way.
So you guys approach the sheriff's office. You see there's a large structure, fairly well built. It has reinforced windows. There's a guard tower attached to the side there, and there seems to be a guard kind of just leaning against the railing at the top, just kind of looking around town. You guys enter, and it seems largely empty. You see there's one desk, a larger desk in the corner.
Perhaps we should, perhaps we shouldn't all enter. Perhaps just 1 or 2 of us should go in. So as not to make a huge show. I feel like we...
I will remain outside and be
I
ever
nominate
vigilant.
Jor and Scraith.
Agreed.
Bird.
Nope. Don't
Oh,
need
that
to
guy.
take anybody with a beard going in. And
That sounds like a good idea.
I agree.
Actually, I
Sounds
guess that's a
enjoyable.
good point to kind of go around the table real quick. As far as
Sweet.
appearances go, clearly you have a full-blown beard. You've been doing this for a while now. I would like to point out, Ma, you've started to develop the slightest bit of stubble, which is kind of a new sensation. Have you been kind of taking care of it in the mornings, or just leaving it, or have you even noticed it?
I've been taking it as like a sign of a blessing because of what I've been through.
Okay.
So I'm seeing like Zahn is granting me some of what Quentin has.
Okay.
Basically.
Awesome. And you've been growing a bit of stubble as well, Jordan. How are you handling this?
I haven't dealt with it. I just look rough.
Just kind of rough.
I
Kinda
just
this,
look
like,
rough. Rough
like
and
this
tumble
baby
little
kind of getting
halfling.
puberty a little early.
Rough and tumble halfling.
little staff.
Wispy little stash. Jor, how's the beard situation for you? I know you're capable of casting magic, but have you been casting magic?
Not at all, really.
Yeah, I mean, I know in your beginner's session you used one spell, but I think that's all you've really done, right? Maybe Shillelagh once.
It's a pretty potent spell, just to let you know. That's like
that motherfucker.
that's like centimeters worth
So
of
let me
hair.
ask you this. So I will say that you have grown some stubble in the past. Have you been? Do you try to keep clean shaven?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
of the implication.
Okay. And then Hotfoot.
Yeah, I'm
As
completely
smooth as the day you were born.
smooth as a baby's bottom, and very similar in proportion as well.
Yeah. And then Straight has got the whole feather business going on. Just you know,
Yes.
you can ruffle the feathers up. We have had a few people kind of add their actual appearances with a good bit of detail. So before we handle the sheriff scene, let's go ahead and do another round of describing the physical appearance of your character real quick. We'll start with Maul.
Yeah, I'm about 6 feet tall, blue skin, got red eyes, white hair, got the gills fringing out on the side, the sense of humor, and yeah, I guess getting slight little white stubble just because of probably the experience in the cave, actually using the radiant scorching rays and stuff. So,
Right.
but they don't know about that yet.
And as far as vestments,
The simple kelp fiber vestments and stuff, almost just like a karate gi or something like that.
and weaponry is just Tartok slung
Tartok.
across your back.
And some darts that have hidden away. That's about it.
Awesome. Jor.
Human, 5'7", pretty lightweight. Brown eyes, amber skin, gray hair. The extended appearance I have is looks scrawny, but tends to wear baggier clothes so that he tries to look more or less scrawny, but it doesn't really work because you can still tell pretty well. And he also prefers to cover up his gray hair with a hood because it is a common trait to the Ironbarks. He doesn't like being associated with them.
I look just like this.
Just like that.
And that's me. About 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
Looking like a
You know,
pirate.
grayish feathers, but there's definitely a very elfish look to me for a bird.
Just very narrow.
Yeah, narrow.
Fine.
Almost like the facial feathers might even be,
Almost like the facial feathers, like impeccably placed and manicured
yes,
to a degree.
very much so. Yeah, and even harder to see at a distance.
And then what kind of vestments are you wearing? Just a long overcoat,
Oh, yeah. The
just
overcoat,
the
you know.
roguish look. You've got a bit of
That's-
panache to your style.
Yeah, and then the feather. The feather, the all important.
Where did you get that
Flying
feather?
That is none of your business, sir.
Oh,
Good to know.
interesting.
Actually, I think we skipped like
Birds and their feathers
baggy
stick
clothes
together.
for you, George.
That's my mother's feather.
Is this like
was very nice.
hand me downs? Just like rough clothes? Are they kind of like fine clothes, but they're just larger than you are? Or if you look like a hobo out of the woods?
Yes.
Oh, please tell me you're like a tree person.
A
like,
tree person.
like one of those people who come out of nowhere and like they have like clothes made out of like bark or like just stuff that they find out in the woods, like a burlap sack. That would be awesome.
It's got to speed up with the
Mud is good protection, man. It's good for your skin.
Yeah,
That's pretty weird.
It's nice and rough.
it keeps the skin.
No, I guess that would be like
It's a great substitute when there's no feces around.
it'd be like moderately normal clothing.
Moderately normal clothing.
Yeah. No, like
is that?
none of that.
No
Okay.
flashy.
Not flashy, just trying to blend in, kind of drab maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Hotfoot.
Rogeria looks like a typical mountain dwarf at 144 centimeters and 113 kilograms. That's 4'8" and around 250 pounds, for those of you that don't know, except for his unusually pale skin, which is pale enough to almost appear albino if it were not for his bright red hair streaked with white and his yellow-green cat-like eyes, and his completely clean-shaven face. His clothing favors bright blues and greens, which contrast starkly with his too white skin. He generally wears a cloak with many hidden interior pockets and a large hood, which he raises up only during the heaviest of rains. His face is almost always smiling, even in the middle of battle, and his eyes, with crinkles at the corners, look like they are laughing. He has a childlike quality to his face that is at odds with his extremely muscular physique and apparent battle scars. He wears his hair long, an indicator of his noble status. His large warhammer he carries hefted over one shoulder with ease, but he peruses a book of fairy stories carried in his other hand as he walks, absorbed in wonder at the tale he is reading. His hands are sculptor's hands, as capable of wielding a delicate chisel to sculpt a fair maiden's face as to carry the warhammer they currently hold. His boots are nobleman's boots of a good strong leather and black as a moonless night. He eschews a gambesson in favor of a lighter shirt with silk sleeves billowing out from the holes in his chainmail vest.
And we can tell who's the writer of the group.
And
I like his pants.
Now, real quick, now that we have such a good picture of Hotfoot, Gavin, can you hold the picture up again real quick? And Hotfoot, can we get how Hotfoot kind of greeted everyone in the morning, getting everyone ready to go? Like, what would Hotfoot say in character so you can kind of put the voice to the face?
Ham steaks for breakfast! I'll get started right away, everyone!
That's perfect. I love it. That's great. All right, on to St. Quentin the Wretch.
St. Quentin stands at 3'5" with emerald eyes.
Look, I gotta pause quick. You say 3'5"?
Sorry, 5'3". Sorry.
I knew people shrieking like that's a little far, man!
Lost a whole 2 feet on that one. No, sorry. 5'3" is how tall he is. Physical appearance, he's very scrawny. Looks like the wind could very easily blow him over. He has snow white hair, except for in some spots where it streaks with silver throughout it and tufts of gray. He has emerald green eyes. His vestments are, at one point in time, if you were to really pay attention to them, they probably look like they're worth a few platinum pieces. But with the wear and tear in general, it looks like maybe mice or something got to it, ate the corners, and just the all-around dirtiness of it. They're definitely worth copper now instead of platinum. Yeah, he's very homeless looking, but not to the point where he would be kidding. He looks homeless, but not homeless. I don't know how to explain it, but yes.
And a wife named Grace that he fell very, very far from.
Yes, there you go. Perfect.
From Zod.
Awesome. Joden.
Joden is a 3'2" halfling who has very spiky hair, making him look almost 4 feet tall. Taller than you, right?
Basically,
it's it's like a white spiky hair. He's got green black eyes. I would say, I guess his facial features are more lawless, I guess, based from his skin texture is kind of like pale, whitey. But then I guess his apparel, I guess, is more sleek and like dark, like almost like dark leather. And, it's like
Leather daddy.
it's like tight, but seems like he could do some yoga in it. You know what I mean?
yeah, you're right. That's in your description, spot on.
What did he say?
You're just a leather daddy.
Leather daddy.
Well, he's not wearing latex.
Close enough. Yeah, right.
All right, back to out front the sheriff's office.
Sorry, just one more thing to add. Also, the beard, like he said, is quite long, and the hair is also quite long. And the hair is actually braided up, but like
Is your
very unkempt. No, the beard's just
is your beard the same
Is it-
color as your hair?
yeah.
Okay.
It's all
Is the
white.
hair more like braided finally, or is it more like
No,
lots
it's-
of shit in it, so it's kind of clumped together and then also kind of turned into a braid after the fact?
Yeah, kind of basically like that. Like the filth has
Yeah.
kept it together,
Oh.
but it's a full head of hair that goes back and it's just down, braided-ish. Yeah.
Awesome. That's good descriptions. I think everyone's got a better picture of everyone so far. Out front the sheriff's office, back to what you guys want to do.
So why don't you fellas go do something else, so that we don't look so suspicious, while me and Jor here go in and have a talk with the sheriff?
Well, it does sound like Ma wants to learn about wenches.
Yes.
That sounds like a wonderful idea.
Yes, I would definitely
Well, me-
like to turn some barrels.
We shall meet you there afterwards.
Yes. Perfect.
All right. So, who all's going in?
Enjoy.
Are you're going with us to the winching?
I'm going winching.
All right. So, Jor and Straith, you guys enter the sheriff's office. It seems largely empty. There's a large desk in the back where you see. It looks like a short figure just kind of like sleeping on the desk. He's snoring loudly. He's, oh, he kind of sits up and he's just like, you can tell he's trying to shake off the sleep. He's like, oh, yes, I'm sorry. And,
No. Pardon me, sir. We were just passing through town, and we had spoken to one of the gentlemen, the guards in the tavern down the way, and he recommended that we come and speak to you. We are, working with. We are trying to track down unsavory magic users, if you know what I mean. And we've heard that perhaps there may be a little bit of trouble with bandits in the town or around the area, and if we can help in any way outside of that, we'd be more than willing to.
And you can tell his ears perk up when you say that, and his sleep is kind of slogging up. His eyes are kind of darting up. He's like, "Unsavory man, are you with the Sorcerium by chance?"
Yes, sir, we are.
He's like, "That's fantastic news. Yeah, we could use all the help we could get. I don't have enough men, and it's just been an uphill battle trying to track these guys down. They're hitting all the outlying towns, and I just don't have the supplies or troops to track them down. Could I see your badge, please?"
Oh, absolutely.
You guys don't have badges yet, as Corin pointed
Okay,
out
I
last session. Just
Oh.
I know it's one of those details
Okay.
that didn't get emphasized enough. You guys do have writs that kind of put you out as trainees of the Sorcerium, so that's the only official type of documentation you have. But as far as official badges go, you're not quite there yet.
So, well, we don't have our badges yet. We do have these writs. We are relatively new to this, but between you and me, some of us are more experienced, and there's a really experienced, guy with us. So,
And
we've-
he looks at it over, and there's some details on there, and he's like, Regulator Corin. He's like, I've heard that name before. Could we get Corin to help us by chance?
Not directly, but let's just say his guarantees on our work.
You see, his elated mood, it kind of goes down a bit, but he still seems grateful for the help. And he says, I'm sorry, that's still great of you. We're happy to help you. Allow me to introduce myself. And he reaches out, and he hops down from his desk, and you can tell he was sitting on a pretty high stool. He's a halfling, much like Joden. And he kind of waddles around to the side of the desk, and he reaches up a hand to shake. And says, the name is Walleric Galbassi.
Walleric, pleasant to meet you.
And you can see he's got large bags under his eyes. He seems exhausted. He's also begun to lose the hair on the top of his head. He's kind of done the comb over attempt, it's trying to keep it there, and it's just got this greasy look.
Straight on at your service.
Yep, and with your showmanship and your charisma, he's hardly noticed George standing behind you. He says, And is this one of your friends as well?
And this is Joel.
It's
Hi.
pleasure to meet you, Jor. And he goes to
Pleasure.
shake your hand. And he says, well, I'm afraid I'm a bit disorganized at the time, but right now, there's actually a map up on the wall there that, again, is very similar to what you have drawn out, just basic features, topographical map. He points out the four towns to the east, which is going to be these four. I forgot my laser pointer. I wish I had that. And he starts detailing how these are the four towns that have had reports of being hit by bandits and whatnot.
Do you have the marker?
I have markers, yes.
So you say bandits, but do you perhaps know that these are normal bandits, or do they have any acquaintance with darker magic?
Well, they're largely just bandits, but they have a few magic users in their group. And as far as I'm able to tell, what they've been doing is sending out something of a raiding party every couple 10 days to just kind of hit some of the major towns. And you know how people are in these parts. They see magic and they don't know how to defend themselves, or if they can defend themselves, and they just kind of bend over trying to...
So what are the telltale signs that they've been somewhere? Are there any... Do they leave any, do they have a mark?
Well, they don't leave a mark so much as they leave bodies if anyone stands in their way. Obviously, the towns are missing a lot of supplies, and we'll have a lot of the merchants and traders come in here yelling up a storm when their supplies go missing along the roads, but...
So when you say bodies, are there any distinguishing or obvious marks that would maybe indicate how they were disposed of?
A lot of the time it's your standard cuts, stabs, and beatdowns, but you'll have a few bodies with scorch marks or appears to have been electrocuted, so signs of magic as far as I'm able to discern.
Okay. Fantastic.
Like I said, it's not all. I'd venture so far as to say not even the majority of them are dark magic users, but they're clearly, they clearly have some users that are proficient and they're getting the materials to help them with their spellcasting somehow, but I don't know anything about spellcasting, unfortunately.
Questions?
Oh, yes, sure, how can I help?
What sort of supplies are being taken?
Well, normally you expect trade goods to be stolen, food goods, livestock, cash when it's available, but the stranger things tend to go missing, such as incense or herbs that your normal bandit wouldn't be concerned with. Often, a couple of the towns, we had an herbalism shop that was hit up pretty bad, even though they don't have much of value in. We had an elderly lady come by who apparently lives off the road near one of the towns, saying that even her hut was hit up and they took some of her ingredients she uses for poultices and such.
Gives us some good ideas of places where to start. Could you direct us to these places you mentioned? Could you tell us how to get there? Maybe we could have a quick chat.
Sure. And how familiar are you with the area?
Not at all, but I've got a great memory, and if you pointed on this map, I certainly will remember.
Well, sure. So he points out the town to the northeast there is known as Drumlian. It's a small village. They have some farm.
Yes.
Do you want me to spell it out for you?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
D-R-U-M Leon. L-E-O-N.
I'll write it better.
They do a fair amount of crops, but they're also our largest exports as far as horses go. They're fantastic ranchers, best in this region anyways. I wouldn't say they've had much unique stuff going missing, but as far as crops and the occasional horse or other livestock go missing, they're the ones to talk to. Southeast of here, and he points to the town, almost directly south of Dromleon. That one there, he says, that one is Schiffer. They're mostly into fishing and more of a way stop for people visiting from the east. They don't do a ton of exports, but the town gets hit up pretty good. They have a general store, blacksmith, but other than that, spelled Shiffer. He then points out the town near the forest over there. He says, that would be Verdun, town of lumberjacks, carpenters. We've had a lot of lumber go missing there, just entire carts that are not easy to move, so I'm not even certain how the logistics of that works out for the bandits, but they collect in quite a fair bit as far as carpentry. A lot of the fine tables for the richer types around here spend their coin over in Verdun. And I'd say probably the last town that has reports of bandits would be, he points out this town near the tributary there. That's going to be... Sorry, I lost my notes. Give me 1 second. That's Bayfar. Bayfar. They're probably our largest fish import in the region. They set up right where the fish like to migrate through and catch all they can and help feed the region. That's also nearby where the elderly woman lives. I'm afraid I don't know exactly where. You'd have to ask around there, I suppose.
And about how long of a journey, by foot, would you say that is?
To Bayfar?
Yes.
Bayfar is probably a full day's journey, I'd say. Just depends on the roads, I suppose.
And when was the last report of, banditry, and which area did that come from?
Oh, I suppose, and he goes flipping through his notes. He says, well, they didn't give me a specific date, but the last time I had someone in here complaining of banditry, let's see here. I had reports from Bayfar 6 days ago. Reports from Schiffer and Verdun 4 to 5 days ago, and I'm afraid I didn't get a date from Drumleon.
But was Drumleon before or after? Do you know?
Drumleon was the first to report.
The first, okay.
They are also the closest. I don't know if that matters.
Makes sense. So it sounds... Yes. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Question, in town we were speaking with one of your men, Jorgen, if you recall?
Oh, yes,
Yes.
fine guy.
Yes, he seemed a little bit uneasy at one point when we were asking him about, when I was just, asking him about what's going on, if he could point us in the right direction. Was there something that we need to know, or is there something we missed, perhaps?
Well, nothing I think that particularly affects you guys. It's more a matter of morale. It's no well-kept secret that the townspeople don't think we've been doing our job in the region in general, but I just can't quite pin these guys down, We don't have the supplies, and, anytime the guards do manage to stand up, we're no match for dark magic. So we're just trying to keep rumors from spreading, trying to keep talk pinned down. But
So I've got an idea. How about we do you a favor, and you help us out. Obviously, what we can do for you is make sure that assuming we can catch these bandits, whatever, we give the credit to you and make sure that it makes you look good. And that way, people have more faith in you. We'll make it we'll definitely tie you into this. It's to build you up, right? Because that obviously goes a ways towards helping prevent this in the future. We can also spread rumors of the mighty halfling of Falcon. And perhaps in return, you might be able to. There's 6 of us. We'd love to have stay in a. I don't know if you have any sway at the local inns. Maybe we could have some room and board, perhaps? And some supplies. Oh, yes, supplies.
I'm sure I could put in a good word, but I don't know how much that'll get you until we start seeing results, I'm afraid.
Ah, good sir. I mean, as with anything, little faith goes a long ways.
Suppose that's true. Make a persuasion check. And make an advantage since you kind of
21.
Okay. Yeah. He's just like, you're right. We're not managing this on our own, so I suppose we do have to put our faith in each other. He says, you have yourself a deal, Scraith.
Fantastic, sir.
Just shake your hand. He says,
Mr. Wallowsby, right? Wallawadsby?
Wallowsby? Is that
Galbas.
Wallaric Galbassi.
Wallowrick.
If you want to spell it, it's
Butchered his name.
W-A-L-A-R-I-C.
He is going to disrespect
G-A-L Bass-I.
Wall beanbag.
Deputy Galbassi. Fantastic.
Oh, head up
What we
there,
could
little
really
sport.
use, I think, are some tents, because obviously as we travel between these places, as we do some investigations, we'll probably need some supplies for the road. Maybe you could, point us in the right direction. Maybe you have some leftover spare supplies you could loan us.
Well, I don't have some camping supplies on hand, but I think I could manage a deal with the local general store. And he goes over to his desk and he begins to write out a note. He says, here, take this over to the general store. Log pallet. Lovely lady there by the name of Cora Brighton. Tell her that I sent you, and I'm sure she can help you out with that.
Fantastic, sir. Thank you. Well, I just so you know, I think our plan will, we'll obviously confer, but I think our plan will probably be to visit these places that you mentioned and ultimately speak with that elderly lady. So, I would think you could expect to hear back from us, hopefully, in 5 days, but 10 days at the worst. If you don't see us in 10 days, assume the worst. But
Well, I hope it doesn't come to that. I do
I don't
have
think-
some more I'd like to input too as well.
Wonderful.
Normally, we have riders light torches along the roads. Not as often as we'd like. We're so much rural out here, but they've been being attacked on the roads at night, and I don't know if I can pin it to the bandits. Most of the corpses haven't turned up in this case, or if they do, I want to say claw marks, but a lot of it is rumor and speculation at this point. Really, it only happened a handful of times before everyone was too spooked to continue trying.
traveling at night.
Traveling at night, and we've been having a hard time having volunteers to light the roads even, so it's even more dangerous because there's hardly any light sources at all.
So how do you light these roads?
Well, normally, prior to evening, we have a rider go out and light torches along the wayside every mile or so, just enough to keep you on the right path. But as I said, they've been having issues and being attacked or too spooked to continue the work. Says, now that I think about it, it's mostly off to the west that's been happening. Sure, around town, shortly to the east, but it's the western towns that have been hit the hardest for the disappearances. I really don't have much to go on with that. That's only come across my desk in the past 2 days.
But are these towns over here?
Oh, yes, those towns.
Can I get the names of those towns?
Absolutely. And he says, the town to the south there is going to be Edfer. Small farming village. Mostly deals with wheat exports, spelled with E-D-F-A-R. If you haven't stopped by the tavern yet, we have a couple of local brews. One of them comes from that farming village known as the Broker Brothers Ale. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorites. If you're more of a darker ale person, town off to the northwest there, and he points to the town farthest north, he says, that one's going to be Balin Village. B-A-Y-L-U-N. Says, that one, It's got quite a bit of dwarven population over there. They make a stout of their own from the oats in the region known as brown male stout. It's quite delicious, very thick. One of my favorites breakfasts as of late.
Fantastic. That sounds exciting.
And then the town off to the west is known as Barshaw. It's just a smaller village. They kind of deal in oats and wheat, much like their northern and southern cousins. Nothing much of a note out there, alongside the river.
And you say this is where the disappearances have largely been?
Well, the roads to those villages, at least. The riders that light the torches have had reports of things spooking their horses, or a couple have come back with some scratches and injuries saying that some beasts attacked them, but we can't get any good witness accounts of what exactly it was. You know how it is when terrified in the middle of the night.
Absolutely.
But, you know, I wouldn't put too much faith in it yet. It's, like I said, it's only happened in the past couple days, and it could just be a coincidence. Perhaps some hungry animals, you know, just prowling a little further than their normal hunting grounds.
Yes. Well, that is good news. That is good to know, and we will keep that in mind, and certainly, you know, attempt to light any torches, you know, as it seems prudent to do so. Sure.
Yeah, and let me ask you this: are you marked? Who has the map? I guess we didn't decide that.
Okay.
You've got the
my
map.
own.
Do you get it? You've got your own map.
Yeah.
Okay. And but either of you marking things down on your map while he's discussing these? Okay.
I've been writing it down here.
Writing it down. Okay.
Yeah.
And then George's been marking on his own map. He says,
Because I've got a, you know, academic, so.
and he notices George's been kind of just quietly writing things down. He asks, if you've got a map of your own there, is that? Did you have any questions about the region I might answer?
Yeah. What are these things?
You just point out 4 things on the map silently. And he says, well, the statue over there kind of guards the entrance to the Grave Far Woods. It's an old burial site that's been largely abandoned. People used to go there and pay homage, but unfortunately we had reports of undead in the area, and we've kind of blocked the area off for goers. It's just been proven too dangerous. A few miles in, there's a road directly from the statue, but a few miles in is the burial site, and it's been known to have undead, so we've been advising townspeople to stay away. Off of the tower to the north there, he points out, that's some old hedge wizard's tower, I suppose. He's not harmful. He's been doing research on, what did he tell me? Magic and its effect on fauna and flora in the area. We of course investigated his tower when reports of magic had cropped up, but
Naturally.
he's a decent fellow. He's been here about as long as the town has. No reason to distrust him.
And what's his? Do you remember his name? You said hedge wizard. Just is there anything we might use to break the ice?
He's like, it's been a long time since I've heard his name. Was it Carmen, Caleb, Cayman Mal something? I'm sorry, I can't remember the last bit of his name. It's Cayman Maldrate, Malkin, something like that.
Is there anything we should know about him? Be careful of, you know, trying to be aware of anything with him. So
Well, actually, yes. Be very careful about asking him about his research. He'll talk your ear off for 3 days straight. So unless you're in for a vigorating discussion of how magic inherently affects other things, just don't bring it up. Just keep it common talk.
Duly noted. Thank you, sir.
Ruined city up there. That place has been there since before Falcon was established. It was actually, I think, the first settlement established in this region, but unfortunately it's near the hillsides where there's been reports of orcs, and I guess some decades ago they just fell to the various orcs. Orc raids, you know how that is.
Absolutely. And what's the best way to get there? Is there a path or a road?
There was a path leading out to the north, but it's largely fallen into disuse. I wouldn't rely on it much. And then, he points out of that town over there. He says, that's Hillmont over there. Dwarven town, hill dwarves. They largely keep to themselves, but they've got a decent little self-sustaining mining operation. We get some of our finer blacksmithing implements from them, but it's no good roads and just, I don't know, so far out of the way, and they're not exactly the nicest folk.
Fair enough.
They don't really approve of even the little bits of magic that we use around the southern reaches of town.
Fair enough. Well, I think you've done us a great service, and hopefully we can repay it to you.
I hope so as well.
So we will visit Core Brighton for some supplies, and thank you for the note. And I suppose we'll be on our way. We'll probably stay in the town for at least tonight, you know, and talk a little bit more. I do owe Jorgen an ale. So I'll be out on our way in the morning.
Fantastic. Well,
If you need anything, if you need us, feel free to grab us before the morning. And
likewise, if there's anything else I can offer, please let me know. I'll make sure to have my guards give you as much leeway as they can in carrying out your duties.
fantastic. Well, thanks again, Deputy Galbassi. See
It's
you
been a
soon.
pleasure. All right. Going to the other group who is going winching.
Can't go to the rest of
Side.
Yeah, I guess. How do you guys plan on finding the nearest winching hall?
I thought we were going to the wench, which
Yeah.
was.
Oh,
Which
the
way do
winch.
you go?
Yeah, you're not going for actual winches.
Oh, well, yeah.
We
assume
assume
that-
that
yeah.
a tavern named the Wench
You did.
Had
probably
wenches.
You did
will
assume
have
that. Well, I
Yes. Okay, so we are looking for the,
Whores.
the nearest.
Well, I need to know.
Winching establishment.
Are you going to the winch or are you looking for winches?
We're
Winch.
going to the Wench.
Okay.
Which
yeah,
way do they go?
Because we assume that's.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, it's the inn of the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
That's
gonna
what we
be.
assume.
Yeah.
whores.
So you guys
Assume.
approach the winch.
It's a church.
It's a holy place.
yeah.
We're only the most sacred place.
The Lady of Our Light winch.
Yeah. You see, it's at this point. I'd say it's about third bell in the afternoon.
timing.
It's already starting to pick up quite a bit of business. There's people, you know, a couple people stumbling around a little drunk out front. It seems rather lively inside. Inside, it's a rather modestly sized inn. There's a lot of business. Everyone's laughing and telling each other stories. The waitresses seem overworked, you know, just delivering meals as fast as they can. Behind the bar, you see a heavy-set gentleman, large beer belly. You can tell that he probably enjoys his stock more than most of his own customers, and he's cheerily telling a story to whoever's paying attention to him at the bar. The waitress, who is carrying a plate of hot food, sees the four of you enter and says, "Have a seat when you can. I'll be with you in a moment."
So, where are these barrels that I can turn or winch?
They will be coming.
Oh, thank you.
Hotfoot goes up to the bar and tries to catch the attention of the bartender.
The bartender, he's going on a story about how he wants, you know, having having run at the Vale on one of his busiest nights of the year during the Feast of the Allfather, that he had marched out to Edford himself and wielded 2 barrels of Broker Brothers ale and marched back down carrying the 2 barrels just by himself, and you know how he saved the feast, and it's clearly him just exaggerating, but all the people listening to it seem to be enjoying the enthusiasm he's putting into the story. And he sees the four of you approach. He says, "Ah, looks like we have newcomers. I've not seen you around town before. Tell me, what's your poison?"
I don't drink poison, only things that are edible.
He says,
We'll have 4 of your best ale.
4 of your best ale? That'll be Broker Brothers then. And he starts filling 4 barrels up and slides it down the bar to each of you. He says, "Tell me, what brings you all to our humble little town of Falcon?"
We're actually working with your sheriff to hopefully help deal with some of the problems that you've been having lately with banditry.
And you say that, and a lot of the people nearby, the tone kind of quiets down, and people, talking about banditry. And some people seem excited, some people hushed whispers, some people seem a little upset actually. Bartender's like, "Well, you might keep your tone down here. That's kind of a touchy subject around these parts."
That's because people didn't know that your sheriff has sent off to the sorcerarium for real help.
And he's like, "Well, Galbassi's doing the best he can with the resources he has,
But now he has us, and things are going to get better."
well,
Praise the Zon.
I can drink to that." And he sets down the last mug in front of me. He says, "Is there anything that our lovely winch can get you to eat while you're here?"
Actually, I was wondering if I could turn her barrels.
And he just kind of stares at you.
What the young lad means is that we were looking for the kind of refreshment that is oftentimes had upstairs.
And a knowing look at him, he's like, "Unfortunately, that's a common misunderstanding here at the winch. We don't actually resort to prostitution, though there are some other establishments around town that may accommodate you in that regard."
And you'd be happy to point those out to us?
Uh,
How much were these ales again?
Make a persuasion check.
Somewhere I have a die, and somewhere I have a... That does not gonna do it. That's a 9. Somewhere over is a...
Oh, before I forget too, because we have the fucking broke-ass divination wizard, anytime you guys make a d20 roll, whether it's attack roll, saving throw, skill check, whatever, go ahead and announce the roll, and then announce the modifier in the total. That way, our gentleman here who can replace your roll with a better and or worse number knows what he's doing before he thinks he's saving the day and applies a roll to something else. We can skip that bit of confusion. So announce the roll, announce the modifier. That way, Quentin is in the know.
So, persuasion is going to be a 12. 9 plus 3.
12, he says, "Well, if you're here to do the work you say you
Wait a
are,
minute. I actually have proficiency in that. Is that
Profici-
automatically added into the modifier on the skill sheet
on the skill sheet, it's
Beyond?
automatically added.
Okay.
So, and the base of it is your charisma modifier plus your proficiency modifier if you're proficient. So,
Okay, yeah, that's plus 3.
okay. So he says, "If you're here to do the work you say you are, then the first round's on me. After that, 4 copper a mug, or 2 silver for a gallon if you're up to that challenge."
How much do you drink, little man?
I can drink my weight. Not very much.
Good
And
answer.
where would we find the closest ancillary establishment?
Well, it's not actually in the town proper. The local reeve doesn't quite approve of such things, but out on the waterfront,
It's harmless fun. I don't even understand.
he's a bit of an uptight schmuck, if you ask me, but it's the only reason the winch no longer has winches. Out near the waterfront is a small establishment, serves drinks, but really that's just the front for the rest they do, known as the Broken Barrel.
Did they turn it too often?
This one takes things quite literally, doesn't he?
If you haven't noticed.
He's a sly one. He is
He's like,
pulling your
despite
chain.
despite the barrel being broken, I assure you, they still roll just fine.
We'll get you a roll very soon.
But as long as you're in town, feel free to have some drinks. We have some. Gambling is still allowed if that suits your tastes.
Barnacle stew. Do you have any barnacle stew?
Barnacle stew? I have fish stew fresh from Bayfog, but.
Were they plunged out of darkness?
Well, I
Dear
suppose
God.
the waters aren't that deep, so they're not that dark. If
Okay.
that's what you're meaning.
I can eat them then. That's fine.
An order of fish stew? Anyone else?
Just more alcohol.
More alcohol? I can do that. And, he goes and prepares some fish stew for Ma here. Around the tavern, everyone seems to just be generally enjoying themselves, drinking, eating. There's a few people gambling in the corner, as he pointed out. There's a lot of various folks here. What would you guys like to do?
I want to see if I can spot anyone that seems like armed or maybe trying to hide the fact that they're armed.
Make a perception check.
So my perception bonus is +4, and I got a 1.
We'll replace yours with a 13.
So you see, you turn around and you're quite a bit stunned. There's actually a lot of people wielding sharp, tri-pronged utensils, and you fear for the safety of the tables in this establishment because you've seen how these things can be wielded. But that's the only weaponry that you've seen so far.
Okay.
So I replaced it with a 17.
You replaced.
So it went from a base of 13 plus 4. So
Okay.
it's a 17 now.
Did I miss you saying that?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're
Yeah,
fine.
he definitely did say
I was too caught up in imagining.
Yeah, yeah,
I still think it works.
that, yeah, it was
Let's be
good.
honest.
That was good. I like that.
That's cool.
And is that the second one for the day?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay. So
Day's over. Let's
yeah,
start.
yeah. Okay, time to go to
Exactly.
sleep.
We're all going to
everybody.
sleep now.
it's the longest day of your life.
I'm going to go to the Broken Barrel early.
Wake up early for the
Looking
whores.
around, you see there's a few people with, not very many, I'd say maybe 10% of people in town, maybe a short sword, a simple type of weapon. They're all wielding, they're wearing the peace bonds on them. You notice, probably I imagine not so subtly being Maul, you kind of look under the tables for, some other weaponry. You see there's a gentleman who seems to be playing dice in the corner, and there's a dagger strapped to the side of his leg that's it's not super well hidden, but no one seems to mind that much.
Master, do you think we'll be able to find dark ones in here?
I'm sure this place is littered with dark ones.
I'll pray about the light being wielded with us now.
Ma, why don't you come with me, and we're gonna sit down at the gambling table.
Gambling.
Yeah, I think we
Like-
should learn.
Games of chance?
Games of fortune.
Fortune. I do love having good fortune. Brother Shadow, I would be honored to join you in this.
Of course.
Oh, and I'm sorry, Jor and Scrape, at this point, from the sheriff's office, where do you guys want to
What
go?
time of day was it when we left?
It's at
the
3
sheriff's
When
office?
you left the sheriff's office, it was about third bell.
I don't do bells. What is that?
3 p.m.
3 p.m.
Okay. Oh, okay. My guess would have been. So I'm not sure if these timelines are necessarily in sync here. I don't know what time it is for them at the bar here. I imagine we would have gone to see Cora Brighton next about some supplies.
Gone and seen who?
Gone to see Cora Brighton for supplies.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
at least chatted up with her and gotten that squared away. That way we could.
Okay, cool.
If you don't see anything there, we can speed through that. And you can just tell us what she was willing
Yeah,
to
well,
do.
on your way there, following the instructions, I want to say you guys do come across what appears to be a woman in distress with 2 pickpockets who are kind of harassing her, kind of going through the typical shakedown type thing. It's in a dark alleyway. There's some people walking by that seem to just be largely ignoring what's going on. How do you guys react to this situation?
I mean, hey, do you see that?
Yeah.
We should go snap.
And let me interject real quick. As far as whispered voices at the table, let's go ahead, unless it's intently trying to keep it discreet from everyone else, go ahead and say it loud enough so that way everyone can hear, because it is a shared storytelling experience.
That's true. Hey, Dor, I think we should go take a look and, help that lady. It's a lady, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help them.
Yes. We'll help them. Because we're decent human beings.
Oh,
Or at least I
guess.
At least one of us is, maybe.
What do you mean?
George turn around and runs.
He's not human beings. We are decent beings. We be decent. Just come on, beast. We, walk over there nonchalantly. Not really. We don't look like we're going to interfere so much, but
Okay. So walking down.
We're ready. I mean, we're
Yeah. So walking down the dark alleyway, you see, I'd say they're about 40 feet out. 2 figures who are just kind of roughing her up, kind of, searching for, her purse or coin, whatever valuables she has.
Can I quickly check the surroundings and see if this is some sort of trap?
Make a, what do you think, perception to look around or insight to kind of know what's up?
They're the same bonus for me.
Okay.
But perception.
Go ahead and roll.
Perceiving perspective. 19?
19.
15 plus 4.
As you are both approaching, there seems to be some small inlets in the buildings, kind of creating this alleyway. You can tell there is a third figure off to the side who's just kind of leaning back, watching. He hasn't noticed you guys approaching yet. He's kind of focused on what's going on there, but you would have easily missed him in the dim light had you not stopped.
That's great. Hold on. See that guy?
yes.
Well, you should have told me about it first. Come on, man.
I was going to go have a talk with him.
Sure, we'll do with that. Just wanted to know instead.
Why don't you hang back? I'll just go act like I'm, So my goal, my intent is to walk up to that third guy and just kind of talk to him.
You're just going to approach him and start talking to him? Okay.
Keep him, throw him off guard, maybe
Yeah.
have some conversation.
What do you say?
So yeah. What's going on here? Looks like you guys are having some fun.
And he kind of turns around and then he sees this, feathered figure. He's just like, what in the fuck? And he's just like, you could say that.
Yeah.
What kind of business are you doing in a dark alleyway? It's not a safe place for.
Well, of course not. That's why I'm here. No, we're just
Saying you want to get in on
This
this.
saw looked like you guys were having some fun, and nobody invited me.
It's like, right, because you're not invited. Piss off and find your own fun.
Oh, come on, lad. Have a heart.
I've never even seen you or whatever you are around this town. This is our territory. Now piss off.
What? Well, have you seen that guy? And I kind of reach out my hand over there, and while he's not paying attention, maybe I'm
Pull the dagger out.
Yeah.
Okay. Make a deception check for me. Actually,
Sleight of hand.
deception or sleight of hand, I'll let you choose what you're kind of focusing on here.
Sleight of hand. 20.
20, yeah. So all it takes is that momentary kind of like wait, and then he kind of realizes his guard's down, but it's too late. The hand is already there. You're going for a stab or just trying to intimidate, knife to the throat? What gesture are you making here?
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go with the kind of.
Okay, so kind of the standard hostage situation.
Yeah.
type
Like
thing.
right. Yeah.
Okay, so, this actually isn't a normal D&D mechanic thing. I guess, Albert, you're probably more familiar with the rules than most of the other players. How does a grapple check based on dexterity instead of strength sound for if he tries to break away in terms of this kind of knife to the throat type thing? Because it's not a true grapple, like grabbing the guy, but
Sure. I mean,
Okay.
it's still check versus
Okay.
check, so.
yeah. So if he tries the breakout, we'll go for that. But at this point, he's still kind of caught off guard. Like you've definitely got him. Like he's like, "That's easy there."
Yeah.
And
A lot of pressure.
it's just, and the other guys haven't seen the notice. They're still kind of becoming a girl. He's like, "What is it you want?"
I would like for you guys to stop making an ass of yourselves and to let that lady go.
And he kind of pauses for a moment, weighing his options, which doesn't really have many.
Yeah. Kind of put a little more pressure on there and say,
Yeah, that's all it takes. He's like, he lets out a shrill whistle, and the two guys kind of look back, and they're like, whoa, and, they go to reach out daggers themselves. And he's like saying, no, easy boys.
those daggers come out, and he bleeds out.
He's like, let the nice lass go. Let her be on her way, and we'll do the same. And he's kind of like looking back towards you, son.
So, I've got a better idea. Lass, would you leave? Just kindly walk out of the alley.
And she kind of mutters a quick thank you and kind of gathers, the things she can and runs off.
And you other two gentlemen, go that way, please. Or else.
And they kind of look to the boss, as it were. And he's like, do it. And they're like,
We start. Yeah, if they start walking back, then we're going to start, backing away.
okay,
You
they're
know,
about
back
40, 50 feet away.
Yeah,
from you.
I back away enough to where I feel comfortable kind of pushing him away and, maybe getting away. And I'd, of course, like to pickpocket him as I'm, making my shovel.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm not. Go ahead and make a sleight of hand check, not for the sake of being stealthy, but just kind of like how well you're able to rummage his pockets from this position with advantage, since you've got a knife to his throat.
16?
16. Yeah. So he's got what appears to be 2 coin pouches. Clearly, he didn't have a use for 2 coin pouches, so they're not his, obviously.
Yeah.
And he's got a dagger on his other side, and that's about all he has on his person. Just some coins and dagger, not much. The coin purses, they're not super heavy either, but you can tell that for people stooping this slow, it's all they're going for is enough to get by.
Yeah.
Are you pushing him away, or
Now, hold up. Does this guy know anything about the bandits?
That's a good point. Maybe we should take him in.
Are y'all saying that loud enough for
yeah,
to hear?
I'm gonna assume you're saying it out loud. He's like, no, look, you can't. We were simply collecting some dues from her. We weren't doing anything illegal. You can't turn us in.
Oh, I'm pretty sure we can do whatever we want. We have Deputy Galbassi's full support.
Galbassi wouldn't even take a cent. We've done nothing wrong.
You were harassing this lady with daggers.
Well, she was. She owed us some money, and she wasn't paying up, so we had to resort to a bit of
In an
force
alley?
to acquire it.
3-on-1.
Well, it's not my fault. It looks like a shady situation.
Well, it does look like a shady situation. Whether that's your fault
See, look,
or not,
look, I'm sure
that's
we
your
can-
plot.
I'm sure we can settle this off the books. What do you want? What do you want?
Well, I would like for you to stop causing trouble, but also, I see here that you have these 2 pouches, of money. Where'd you get these from? Why do you have 2?
Those are my pouches.
Right.
It's a decoy pouch in case some unscrupulous types come to steal what's mine.
Good sir, I do believe you're mistaken. These are my pouches. Right?
Of course.
Right.
Absolutely, they're
Now,
your pouches.
here's the deal. There are 8 more of us here. And if you would like to cause trouble, we will certainly find you. We can settle this later. But I'm going to give you a chance because I think you're a smart
Real quick, he does. You can see his eyes had a dark eyes. He's like, "Is 8 of you?" He seems pretty terrified at this point.
Go and do no more harm. If we see you causing trouble again, this knife against your neck will feel like a lover's tickle.
I I swear. No more shady-looking acts. I'll be an upstanding citizen from now on.
Perfect. One more question. Do you have any enemies in town, per se?
You mean
Do you have any acquaintances that you might, that we might want to overlook or investigate? Is there any?
aside from ones that sneak up behind me in an alley and hold a knife to my throat? You mean?
That's correct.
Well, enemies, no. Acquaintances, I think I know what you might be getting at. We're not directly affiliated with them, if that's what you're asking.
That's basically what I'm asking.
Look, me and my gang, we just run the alleys in Falcon. We're just trying to scrape by with what we got.
Perfect. I'll make a deal with you. The alleys are yours while we are here. But you do no harm to anybody, especially ladies who are defenseless. Tell us who these people are, and maybe we can clean them up for you, and then maybe when we leave, you guys are the top dog. Who knows?
Well, is there any chance we can discuss this without a knife at my throat?
No.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
Unless it does.
I don't know what they call themselves. They're trying to keep as low profile as they can. They never come near Falcon itself. Palisades scare them off too much of a guard presence at choke points, I imagine. They keep to the outer towns where it's easier to slip in, slip out. But I don't know much about them because they never come around town, and the town is all I know.
Well, how do you know about them then? If you have affiliation,
talk,
what affiliation? So it's all rumor. I thought you said you were affiliated.
I said we weren't affiliated.
Oh, you weren't affiliated.
No.
Okay. All right, good. So what's your name?
My name?
Yes.
They call me Pickett.
Pickett. Pickett. Well, my name is Scraith, good sir, and you are welcome to come see me again. I would love to make your acquaintance in the light of day, introduce you to my friend, Mr. Zahn, and we'll be seeing you in the light later on. Hopefully.
Yeah, he seems largely confused by that last bit. It's just kind of almost friendly banter. He's just like, I'll make note of that, Mr. Scraith.
Fantastic. And I kind of smack him on the ass. Like, get out.
He kind of stumbles and kind of half falls down in a muddy pool of whatever was leaking out there, and he kind of just scrambles off, following after his friends as quickly as he can.
So now we should. I assume you apprehended the lady to find out what. No.
I'm just watching you. Do your thing. Like,
Where did she go? Perhaps you might have noticed. Worthless.
Yeah, I mean, she ran down the alley, turned a corner 5 minutes ago. She's gone.
Oh well. To the winching.
You guys head off to the winch then?
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the winch, I believe some of you were approaching.
We were gonna play a game together.
Play the gambling table, I
Play
believe
the
there was
gambling
going on. Yeah.
All right.
So,
You see, there's a gentleman there who seems to kind of be, kind of the champion of the dice tables at least. He's kind of sitting there, he's like scooping up some coins from his most recent victory, and he's like, "Better luck next time, boys," and scoops the coins his way. Says, some fresh meat, friends. It's always happy to see some friendly new faces around here. Would you care for a game of dice?
I would love to share some good fortune with you, sir.
And only good fortune is at my table. Yes. Please, have a seat. I don't believe I caught your name.
I am Ma of Zahn.
And you may call me Reginald. Shakes your hand. Says, tell me, have you ever played dice poker before?
No, I haven't.
Well then let's get you started with a quick introductory game. Let's set the pot at, what's your price? 5 silver?
5? Okay.
This is fantastic. And he throws 5 coins onto the table, center of the table. Says, do you have your own set, or would you like to use one of mine?
I don't have any dice. I guess I'll have to use one of yours.
Because that's perfectly fine. I guess we'll just go around here. Use these.
Jody, are you going to play?
I believe I'll just watch the first round while you're learning the ropes.
Thank you, Brother Shadow.
Yes.
Alright, so
guys,
he
you
goes.
win.
Alright, first, one dice to see who goes first. Says,
I have a
seems you have bested me, my friend. I rolled a mere one. The first roll is yours. Roll all 5 dice. Says it appears you have a 2 pair. So, what you want to do is keep an eye out for any duplicate dices. Set those aside. Now I will roll. It says, and I also have a 2 pair of ones. Oh, so now we come to the midpoint. You can choose to raise the ante, and I think I'll keep it at 5 silver pieces.
Okay. How high up do I need to raise the ante?
As high as you would like.
You don't need to, Mom.
Oh, well, I guess I'll.
I don't
put in
know
the
if-
rest of my silver.
And
Okay.
how much is that?
Oh, that's 3 silver.
3 more silver pieces? Yes. I will match that.
He's gonna put his arms in mine.
He's got it.
Alright, now you can choose to re-roll any of your dice. Now, as I'm sure a man of your intellect is aware, 1 is a very small number. So it may be wise to re-roll some 1s, hoping for some better rolls.
Okay.
I would not. I'm whispering in his ear at this time.
You whispering in his ear?
Yeah. I was like, you don't want to do that. You want to get rid of the other.
Oh, coaching is frowned upon at Table Street. It's best that new players learn from their mistakes.
But you're trying to coach him in the wrong way.
Coach them in the wrong ways. 1 is a lower number. A 2 pair is easy to come by.
Yes, but he already has a set of ones, pal.
Very well, I don't wish to cause an argument. If you wish to keep your 1s, feel free. Listen to the advice of your young chipper friend here.
I will follow my brother, as I always have. So I just re-roll one of them.
Reroll whichever dice you want. You can roll any of them. Like, as many as you like.
I will roll
All
these
3
two.
of you know.
He's
Well, as
very
many as you like. As many as you like.
So this was fancy.
Alright.
You could have re-rolled 3. Oh!
Ooh,
Says-
suck.
Well, says, it seems you have bested me, friend. And the pot is yours. Perhaps
Praise to Zahn.
Perhaps you'd be kind enough to give me a chance to win my money back.
But it's for all the children of light. But I will always be happy to give an opportunity for someone else to have good fortune.
I'll raise the pot by a gold piece. He says, losers roll first. Alright, I have a 2 pair again.
You're rolling everything again. This is a new game.
Thank you, Shadow. Should we have more gold?
You wouldn't want to seem weak, would you?
And he kind of glanced around and was like, another gold sounds good. And he rolls the dice, and unbeknownst to you, well actually, I know you're watching closely, so you
Yeah.
can make a perception check with advantage.
Sure.
Oof.
I'm pretty sure that's a 23.
23.
Yeah.
He's clearly working his sleight of hand here to try and nudge the dice in his favor and win for
Oh,
triples.
Step him in the hand.
touching the dice after they're rolled, are you?
It's like, you're accusing me of cheating?
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a few people that you could tell had lost from him earlier, and he's starting to kind of sweat bullets. And he's like, there's no cheating here, friends. Rest assured, just some newcomers that don't know of Reginald.
Reginald the dice roller and then re-roller again.
It's not a very catchy title.
Well, guess what? You're cheating.
Can you prove that I was cheating?
Yes, I saw it.
He's being deceitful?
He's trying to cheat you out
Would
your
never
money,
be
but you have yet to roll your last 3.
That's just. What would you have me do with the situation? The dice are rolled.
The dice are rolled. Change it back to what it was.
It is a 2. It's what it was.
It's what is 3.
Look, why don't we let my competitor decide what is best? Do you believe I am cheating?
I believe all are capable of redemption, regardless of how dark their deeds, but I will have to go with my brother Shadow. He's been there with me through thick and thin in battle, and I trust his insight.
This is outrageous. I've never been so brazenly accused. He starts collecting all his dice, all of his winnings and putting them up. And you can tell he's just trying to quickly get out of there. I want both of you to roll perception. Actually, all 4 of you make a perception check.
Can I do one thing?
What's that?
I've been paying attention to this from the bar.
Okay.
As he yells out that he's cheating. Does anybody's head perk up and turn around and look at him, or do I notice that?
Are you talking about any of the other bar goers who
Yeah.
have seen this?
Yeah, that might have been oh well, fuck, really?
Yeah, there's a few people that you can tell they're kind of told you he was cheating. They're kind of talking to their friends. There's a few people, and you can tell he's definitely lost some clout around here.
Can I cast messaging on him, on Reginald?
Yeah, I'll let you cast message.
I'm just gonna say one simulation. It's gonna be run. That's it.
And okay. Still okay. Perception checks from. Are you at the table?
What?
Are you?
I'm sitting at the bar.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
I'm sitting.
In fact, I was going to say that I stayed at the bar specifically so that I could listen to see if I overheard anybody talking about incidents of magic
That's
that
what-
they had happened.
Okay. So both of you go ahead and make a perception check for me.
14.
Let's say 11.
Okay. So, he's making a big scene of this, he's the one being, offended here. And he's like, I've never. And he's like, you come in with weapons wielded at your side, making me feel threatened in my own, den. And,
But you have a dagger by your
and he's
foot.
gathering, and he slips it further down in the boot. And he's just like, how dare you? And he's just gathering these things up. And he's doing a very good job of being distracting during this. And it almost slips by you, Joden, that he's gathering up the pot as he does this as well. But what I'm going to say is that he's got to they're in his hand, and he's pulling on it right now. And so what are you doing?
Yeah, I guess I want
You go for the slam on the table.
Yeah.
With your hand or
With the mug, I guess.
Oh, with the mug. Okay.
Yeah.
And he's just like the coins. He mugs them. It took me a second to get that. As coins kind of scatter across the table, and he's like,
Those aren't yours.
he's like, my mistake. I'll be on my way.
Are you on your way?
I'm on my way.
Did you pay the barkeep?
And I have a tab.
You have a tab.
I have a tab.
You better pay the
I'll be on
barkeep
my
on your
way.
way out.
I will.
All right.
And he quickly just runs over to the bar and shoots you a dirty glare and just throws some coins on the table and just runs out completely embarrassed and shamed.
I
There's a
believe
few-
those are yours.
People booing him as he runs out. They leave, and
Well, Brother Shadow,
there's a bit of a cheer coming from the crowd.
I'm splitting this with you.
With me, these are yours.
Are you okay? I will keep it, and hopefully it will benefit the light.
You will need them later.
I mean, you were correct. This game is definitely good fortune. Not for him, but good fortune for us.
Absolutely.
And then, as Scrape and Jor are entering the bar, you're almost run over by this guy who's just hurriedly coming out. His face is just red with shame, and he's like, "Get out of my way!" and just smacks you aside. He's just trying to get away. And you come into this scene. The bar seems to be kind of cheering at this seemingly 4-foot halfling. The spotlight's kind of on you, Jordan. How do you want to give a bow first? You just sit down and finish your drink. What do you do?
I just pick up my mug after mugging him and drink my beer.
And everyone,
And then get down
cheers
on
to
my
that.
little bench and walk to the bar again.
Okay. And the barkeep's kind of loud. He says, "That was a fine display." And he gets you a fresh mug. He says, "On the house."
Thank you, guys.
Could I please just have water?
Water? Sure. And he hands you a glass of water, and you drink it. And it's not quite as salty. It's like it's clearly fresh water, but it is water nonetheless. All right, you've all kind of reconvened in the tavern here.
So, lads,
What did you find out?
we have had the good fortune of basically getting in with, what's his name? Deputy Wars Galbassi. So, not only did he help us fill out the rest of our map, we've also got the name of all the exports and the imports from all these different villages around town. I think we know exactly where to go. Plus, Mrs. Cora Brighton, I have this note. I think she's going to give us some supplies for free.
Awesome.
So, we should be set, gentlemen.
Praise to Zon.
Oh, and lastly, some chap in an alley gave me this bag of coins. So, drinks are on him.
And I'm going to get the coins out for you. It comes to a total of about 4 gold, 7 silver, and some change.
Okay.
So,
We'll just keep it for whatever we...
okay.
The group? Yeah, tab for the night,
You just throw those at the barkeep, the
Yeah,
2 coins of meager earnings, but it's enough to kind of cover your stay here for a while.
yeah,
Okay.
Good fortune all around.
yeah. So,
Okay.
What?
so have you found your wenches yet?
At this point,
Apparently
it's about
the
5
waterfront
bell in the
is
evening.
where
It's
you
starting to get
turn.
later in the evening. What'd you say?
I said, apparently the waterfront is where you turn barrels.
So the waterfront lake.
We have heard good things about the waterfront on finding our barrels.
Gotcha.
But for some reason the barrel is broken. Very odd.
Nevertheless, we're going to get him turned.
Yes.
Turned
The
on the
barrels
barrel.
will be turned.
Barkeep, how far do you say the broken barrel is?
It's just on the outskirts of town, off towards the waterfront, northwestern side. It's just west of the bridge. Can't miss it.
He visits there quite often.
The broken barrel's not too far away for our young chap here.
Definitely not.
Oh yes, I can swim very far.
Nice. Well, there is a river. You may be able to show off your talents.
Should we adjourn for the
Something
night?
should be flowing before the end of the evening. That's what I would say.
So we're gonna walk over there. Walk over.
Well, as you guys are kind of making plans for the evening, that's whenever Jorgen shows up to the tavern. And he's kind of looking around, trying to, and he sees his feathered friend. And
Jorgen!
he's like, "Oh, Scrape!" And he's like,
Come over here, man.
It's like, did you get a chance to speak to Wallerick?
I did. He was the most helpful fellow. Come here, I owe you a drink. Or 2.
Oh, thank you. And he sits down, and barkeep he's already getting him ready.
I've heard that the brown male stout. Do you serve that here?
Brown male stout? Of
Yes.
course we do.
Absolutely. Jorgen, do you like the brown male stout?
It's just, I'm a fan of the stouts, like the darker stuff.
Fantastic, good man. I knew a good man.
Have
when I
you
saw him.
have you ever had brown ale?
I mean, no, not here,
He's like,
but
oh,
I take it on good word. That it's-
amazing, thick as oil it is. It just coats your throat as it slides down, lights a fire in your belly. Barkeep sets 2 on the counter. Well, there you go.
Sorry, it's within my history.
Yeah, you guys enjoy Jorgen's kind of going over, his shift of the day. Nothing terribly interesting, just carts coming in and out. He talks about a few of the trade suppliers that were bitching about stuff getting stolen.
Good.
Nothing.
I'd definitely, like to tell him about the incident in the alley and see if he has any insight into that.
He's just like, oh yeah, Pickett and his gang. They're just scumbags. They don't normally cause any real harm to anyone, but you find things go missing, a few coins here and there, and
Well, I found those missing coins.
we don't have them anymore. Give
Oh
them
yeah,
back.
well, yeah.
And he's like,
Never mind.
did you really? He's just like, that's fantastic that someone's able to put him in a spot. I'm stuck on my post all day, and they know well enough to keep out of line of sight from the guard posts. So.
Yes, you might just. I did end up letting him go. Show of good faith and such. So
It's rough. He's not, he's a wily one at that. He does his best to kind of skirt around the laws, and even when you catch him in the act, he finds a way to weasel his way out of it. But again, it's nothing majorly harmful, but he does put a good scare on people around town.
well, I'm pretty sure I put a good scare on him. So
I would have liked to see that.
yes. Well, anyway, just
Okay, I'd say another hour or so has passed. Everyone's a couple mugs in if you're still drinking. Have you enjoyed some, frankly, not up to par fish stew? You can tell it was fresh, but again, it's fresh water. It's just not. It doesn't have that brine.
I think this fish has too much darkness in it.
He's like, oh, I will tell the chef. Sets it back aside. Yeah, it's about 6, 7 bill. You guys have all had a meal of some sort on the house, of course, as first grade. What would you like to do?
Hey, Jorgen, I think we need to show our friend here how to turn the barrels over at
The broken barrels.
yes, turn the broken barrels. It's first time.
And Jordan says, well, I'm afraid I can't join you for that, but you all enjoy yourselves, and he goes for one last
Here.
cheers. And, yeah, you guys are on your way. It's starting to get fairly dark outside, but the town is well lit within the walls. You're able to kind of follow the road signs, major streets to the edge of town, where there's the northwestern gate leads out to. You almost immediately see the large stone bridge kind of going over the river. There's a lot. It's more of a kind of shanty town out here. Just a lot of ramshackle buildings that just couldn't get deep to inside the town. Just sort of wants to live nearby. A lot of them look like more recent constructions. Like people generally feel safer around Falcon instead of where they previously were. You don't see any actual signage for the Broken Barrel, but down near the bridge where you were indicated, there's one unmarked building, and there is a large broken barrel sitting on its porch, almost decoratively. You guys can infer that this is in fact the Broken Barrel. You go inside.
Yeah, we go in.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's another tavern of sorts, but you can tell everything here is just of substantially lower quality. It's not about the food. It's not about the drinks. It's not even about the atmosphere. There's the upstairs, and you see a few girls kind of looking down, kind of making flirtatious waves at people, and a few others coming down and mingling with others. And this is what you're looking for.
You're pretty sweet if Pickett was at the bar and I could just go to sit down next to him with my arm around him.
Well, it's funny, as you're thinking that, you see there's a couple heading down the staircase. There's a familiar voice with a winch, his arm around a winch. Says, so this feathered freak comes up and I trail him off.
My friend!
And he's just like,
Good to see you!
and it turns out we had a lot in common. I made a new friend that day. Scrape was a...
Pickett, can I buy you a drink, sir?
He says, I've had my fill for the night. But
Oh,
thank
I bet
for
you
the offer.
have.
I told you what a great fellow he is, and you can tell she knows this, but she's chuckling to herself as he's trying this pitiful attempt to save face. And he's like, I really must be off for the night, but it's, the girls are all ready for you, and he just quickly tries to make an exit out.
I stop him. I'm like,
He's just like,
Pickett, my friend Scrape. You seem to be a regular around here. We have a newcomer, and I think you could point him in the right direction of which gal we might like.
Are you gesturing to someone?
No, I'm gesturing to pick. I'm talking to pick.
Well, no, you said you have
Oh, no.
someone to.
Yeah,
Trying to get
sorry, I'm
advice.
gesturing to.
And he kind of looks over at Wall and he's like, I suppose he kind of looks at you like, is like, are you really gonna? He's just like, merfolk, right?
So I'm told.
Ask for Satania. He says,
She has the barrel to turn.
she can turn barrels. That is one of her specialties. She can also float the barrel, spin the barrel, flip the barrel, roll the barrel. And if you're not careful, she will break your barrel.
She can swallow the barrel.
You know, I haven't asked her for that one in particular, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, I've learned many different maneuvers in the monastery, so I'm ready for almost anything.
You can show her your karate moves. Oh,
And he says, and you know, and he pulls out a silver coin and just, and the first bell rides on me. Have a good night to all of you. And he goes to exit.
Scrape, that was fun. Such a fine chap. Where did you find him?
He's the best sorts. Actually, I found him in an alley, and we had a little discussion.
Sounds exactly like
So around this area, you see there's several girls. Most of them are human. There's a dwarven lass walking around. Unfortunately, no half lasses.
the bigger they are.
They're just all kind of mingling about. One of the human ladies walks up to Jor in your bag of clothes and like, this is, God, I don't even know how to begin doing this.
Your best sexy voice.
That's great because
Oh,
on the
those
piano.
clothes are so baggy. Why don't we take them off and see what you have underneath? Fucking kill me.
Sorry. Work for business.
Oh, you're no fun. And,
Ask one of my compatriots.
yeah, she goes over to
Backing
Maul
out of
and
this
starts
one
to-
too, George.
Oh, such tone in your muscles, right? She starts trying to play with your gills, just kind of.
Oh. Yeah, if you would like to see more, I take
And she's like, oh my, you must have trained really hard.
Yes, I was trained very hard and endured many difficult trials. So, as you can see, this was a scar from a large beetle, and then this is the time.
Oh, shut up.
And you can tell she's already kind of put off by this. She's just like, that sounds very difficult.
I come over there and put my arm around her and say, "Lass, he's a first time. He doesn't really know what this is about. But if you show him a good time, I'll let you ruffle my feathers later."
She's like, well, I'm sure some of the other girls would be more acclimated from him. I was sure I'm ready for that.
I was given a name, Zatania.
Oh, Satania?
Zatania, yes.
Let me go fetch her. And she comes up front of your arm, and she goes in the back. And, a minute goes by, and you can see this full mer woman comes around the corner.
Oh my god. That was
And
awesome.
it's with the other girl. Yeah, full mer. Yeah, like the gills are just you've never seen such color in the gills, and almost see the scales on her skin, and she's got the head fin and everything, and it's just.
Wait, hold on. Are his hands still bound?
Did you actually tie your hands?
I mean, to be fair, this entire time he like he hasn't been up that die.
This whole time he rolled the dice like
I know, that's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, no, he did it. He did it. That's what he was doing.
So
It didn't click to me. I completely missed
perfect.
it.
So he's in a whorehouse bound up. Perfect. Go on, just remember that as we subtly transition
So
into
Satania
your-
goes to the corner with the other girl, and she kind of points you out, and she's just like, she walks over, and she's like, I see you're already ready to go. And she looks at your bound wrists. And
Remember, Ma, you're peace bound.
yeah. Now
Go with the nice lady now.
I do have to ask, to Maul,
How far are we going?
what is
to go?
this doing to Maul?
definitely like here he's now getting to the point he's feeling very vulnerable, and the first time he's seen like a female being of his kind, it's like
femur.
It's like so it's he's kind of like, wow, like this is all sorts of emotions and stuff he never really had before. So
Yeah.
Is she dressed scantily, or
Yeah,
She's wearing
it's very much in the vein of like she's wearing a lot of coral jewelry and a lot of it's not actual kelp like his kelp vestments, but it's definitely got that aquatic colored tone going on. As she kind of guides you off, she has a quick word with the barkeep, and he hands her 2 mugs that appear to be mugs of one with water and one with some type of beverage, and she has a small vial of salt and just pours it in and gives it a good stir and escorts you up upstairs. And
his gills are like,
all gills. Wow. So she takes you upstairs.
Like pulsing.
And I'm not going to go into the full details before.
please stop. We're good with that.
I will say that she takes you up, goes to the room at the far end of the hallway, and she says, "Wait out here just a moment." She goes inside. A few minutes later, about 10 minutes later, you're trying to start running. Like, should I go? Like, what's going on here? She comes out and she gestures you inside, and inside on the bed are eggs laid out. She says, "Whenever you're ready, big boy." Shuts the door, and you're all, yeah, get some, Maul.
Barnacles up!
And that's going to be Maul's night, unless for some reason you decide.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. The rest of you?
Hotfoot definitely approaches the female dwarf that is there and says, "My lady, you are so beautiful. Would you be amenable to a private word?"
She's like, "Well, I'm not much for words. I'm much more for action." But and she's kind of looking at your just bulging muscles and raging baby face. She's
baby
like,
voice.
and she's like, "Well, okay, I can work with this." She's just like, "Sure, let's get a room, shall we?"
Yes, let's do.
Yeah.
So we go to the room, but as soon as we get inside the room, I say, "I know that ladies like you hear lots of things. I'm really more interested in talk than in anything else. I want to know about any of the bandits. And have you had any encounters with them?"
She's like, "The bandits? You're talking about Pickett and his gang?"
"No, of course not. Pickett and his gang are small fry. They're friendly. I'm talking about those that are causing real trouble."
Oh, you mean the ones out in the towns out to the east?
"Well, I know that's where they do their business, but where do they get their pleasure?"
Well, I don't know about the lot of them, but a few stragglers every other 10 day or so come by here, and they won't admit to anything other than beating up on passerbys. They won't claim to any of the magic, but you can tell some of them have the tattoos and the ink, and others have pouches full of whatever things those magically inclined might use. But I'm not
And
one.
when was the last time that they visited here?
Last time they visited here, I'd say was about 6 or 7 days ago.
So, if I were to just hang out here for the next 10 days, I might just run into them. That seems like a great idea.
It's a possibility, but I wouldn't say they drop by every time they make a stop by town. Most of them prefer to stay away from Falcon, but you could get lucky. Maybe tonight.
Oh, you have already made me very lucky. And then he hands her a couple of silver, which I shall turn over. Sorry.
Yeah, she pockets those away.
And then he heads back down into the common room.
Okay. And as you're heading out, she's just like, she pulls out a pipe and is like, whatever, I still got paid, and she just keeps the room to herself. She's like, shut the door on your way out.
He does.
All right, another satisfied customer. Rest of
Anybody
you.
else got something to do?
Asking the barkeep if he's heard about any dark magic users or of the like.
Barkeep.
How does he ask this?
We'll say that throughout everything that's been
Can you
going
show
on.
us
Sure.
your character?
Like how so?
In like a role-playing D&D sort of way?
Okay, so, I was just confused. I thought you were like, would you get up and grant you a
Jackson out.
Can I saunter over? And
That's true.
approach
That's
the
true.
bar?
We do need to work on the role playing certain scenarios with some people.
This is you.
So, yeah. So throughout everything that's been going on, at some point in time, I would have liked to have approached the bar,
Okay.
and then at that point, I would like to flag down the barkeep.
Okay. You see, it's a huge mountain of a man almost. He's extremely gruff. He's got kind of a crooked jaw, and tells you he's been in a lot of bar fights here and there. He kind of, barkeep
Yeah,
to get his
just,
attention, but it's almost like he didn't hear you at all, or just isn't paying attention.
At that point, I'm going to slam my fist down on the table. God's damn it, barkeep!
And he's just slumps over, and he leans up and he's like, "What's filth like you want?"
I'd like to know how much a simple ale costs.
5 copper an ale.
Perfect. Now, I would like to know if you know anything about any dark magic users that pass through this way.
Nothing I'm going to talk about.
Okay. We'll play it the hard way then. You'll tell me one way or another.
We'll see about that, Gramps.
Fetch me my drink.
Fetch me my coin.
I turn over a silver. And I just kind of throw it at his chest.
Yeah. And he just slides it off the side of the bar and sets a mug of ale in front of you.
Okay. And I'm just going to casually sip it for right now and defer to the group.
Okay.
What'd you say this fellow looked like? You say he's big, he has
He's
like
a large
detached
armor
jaw.
man. He's kind of got a
Large-
crooked jaw. You
he's
can
a
tell
man.
he's been in a lot of fights. He used to be the type of bar fighting a lot.
Yeah.
Just seems very rough and tumble, not interested, not the talking type, largely. At least that's how he's coming off to his conversation with Quentin.
So, Scraith, tell me more about how you met Piggin?
Well, we were walking by an alley, and this Pickett Pickett was kind of hiding off to the side, and his 2 henchmen were, bothering this lady. And we decided to, intervene. And, the intervening went well.
And somehow you're great friends with him.
Oh, yes, best chap. Absolutely.
Well, he seems right up your alley.
Yes, well, not in my alley, but
Oh, but
Jor got a little excited.
you did find him in an alley,
Yes.
though.
Yes. No, probably worth keeping our eye out for him. I may have, intimidated him a little bit.
Okay.
I was trying to get him to walk in the light.
Of course. Everyone is around here.
Right. So. Yeah, so anyway. So I walk up to them, so I'm over at the bartender.
And he sees you approach and he says, "What the fuck are you?"
Come on, sir. What am I? I'm a Scraith.
And kind of shakes his head and he's just like, "Never seen
Come
one
on,
of
don't
you
play
before."
hard to get. Of course not. No, I am from, I'm not from here, not around here, but, my friends and I, we mean, harm. We are completely here for the betterment of this village, of this town, and we would just like to inquire and see if you'd be willing to aid us. I would assume you would prefer to keep your establishment running well and, you know, free from riffraff. Not that it looks like you need any help. You look like...
Well, sorry, I think I've had a few too many tonight.
No feeling.
We've had some trouble with them in the past. They get a little rough and tumble. They feel like they own the place when, you know, I've worked blood and sweat and to the bone for this place, and they come in acting like they can do whatever they want. They ruined the original Broken Barrel we had, so I had to go and redo
Really?
that. They've threatened to harm some of the girls when they don't, you know, do what they want.
You
Just
don't say.
General troublemakers, if you ask me.
So you would be very happy if we were to look into this situation, I assume?
I would. I'm almost sad to say you may be a couple of days too late. We had a bit of an incident with them the last time they were here where I threatened to call the guards on them, and I don't know if they'll be back soon or if they're going to be coming back, you know, with friends. It's hard to say. I don't know what to expect. They may not show up. They may show up, you know, intending to actually cause us harm this time. Frankly, it's got us all a bit on edge.
Here specifically.
Yes, to the Broken Barrel. They don't go inside the town proper.
Really? So what interest do they have here with the Broken Barrel?
Just the women.
Just the women.
Yes, all the girls here.
So if we were to be here when we assume, it sounds like they come every 10 days or so. Sort of a cycle?
Usually it's every 10 days, but it can be spotty sometimes. It's usually the same couple fellows. One of them comes in, he's got tattoos all along his right arm. Wears a lot of leathers and hides from the looks of it. The other one, I don't think he does indulges in magic. You know, clean shaven and everything. Seems to resort to his weapon anytime things get hot. The more the tattoos, he doesn't have a lot of facial hair, but he's got that bit of a goatee going on.
Oh, I see.
But
I see.
those are the only two that I know are with that group that come around here.
I see.
But
Whoop.
they're pretty tight-lipped when it comes to, you know, trying to talk to them about it.
So you, clearly being a very capable fellow, how would you approach the situation if you were looking to? I mean, obviously, you know, the town is a little bit undermanned, and you know you're doing everything you can to keep this wonderful establishment up and running. So, if you had a little more manpower, what would your approach be to potentially, you know, solve this problem?
Well, I'd track them down, find out where they're hiding out, and kill them. You know, worthless to the fine folk here in Falcon Islands. You know,
Okay.
we're just trying to make a living with good, honest trade, and they come about treating us like shit, stealing what's rightly ours, and it's just a mess. You know, what does the world come to?
Boys, I think we have a task on our hands.
Barky, obviously the bandits haven't been around forever. How do they find their ranks around here? Do they have any way to recruit?
Yeah, he kind of sees you and looks at you, he's just like, I wasn't talking to you now, was I, little folk? Buzz off.
I don't think you understand. I'm with the bird.
When he says "with me," that's a very loose term.
I'm in accompaniment of the bird. Yes. Same word. Sounds good. Great friends.
Bark is the word.
I kind of look over, you know, I don't know, kind of like, you know, just clearly trying to, like, you know, he's good in a fight.
They were trying to recruit. How do they find people from around here, or do they come from all around?
I couldn't say. Not from Falcon, as far as I know.
Son be praised!
We go ahead and, you know, so
Excellent.
you know, I'm gonna, you know, look over at the bar and say, you know, just to kind of, it's a show of good faith, sir. We want you to know that we are on your side, and you know, just consider that a token of our appreciation for your help, and you know, obviously maybe cover a few of the
He's like, well, it's much appreciated.
Yes.
Would you like rooms for the night? For you and...
We've actually already
We're
got...
locked.
We've got rooms back in town, although we may have to consider... We may, we're waiting on our friend upstairs. First timer.
So Tanya will take good care of him.
So we've heard. Yes, so I will be here for a while, but I do believe we have rooms back in town.
Sounds good. I'm sorry I couldn't be of more assistance,
No,
but
no,
if
absolutely.
you ask around at the eastern towns that have been hit by them, I'm sure they'll have more information.
Fantastic.
She's answered my questions.
While we're waiting, do you have another one of those brown ale stouts?
Brown mail? Yeah, I've got some left, and pours you a mug and sets it on the counter. He says, oh no, on the house room.
Oh, thank you, good sir.
Alright, what are you guys gonna do?
I'm gonna drink my stout.
Sleep it off.
Drink the rest of mine.
Sleep it off.
Yeah, some else. Did you guys wanna... You guys
Nobody wants to check on Boss.
smoking some kelp?
Smoking that dang kelp.
So, did you want to leave a message for your friend in the morning? I doubt he'll be up for travel tonight.
We should definitely camp outside of town.
How
Did you say that we should camp outside of town? It's all good.
We don't have the supplies yet.
What supplies do you need? I've gotten by my entire life without any of these supplies you need.
And as Hotfoot says this, there's a loud crack of thunder that shoots through the clouds, and a more than a light drizzle begins to pour down outside.
And
I don't know
Hotfoot
about
flips
you,
up
but
his hood over his head and goes,
I like to
let's
stay
go,
fresh."
guys.
Zom.
What'd you say?
Zalman.
Zom?
I'm not sure I understand what that means, friend.
Alright, so, what's the group doing? We're kind of split here.
Y'all want to go to
I
outside?
assume that the standard sort of innkeeping type of accommodations apply. That there's some price to sleep on the floor of the common room and a different price for a private room upstairs.
Yeah, especially in an establishment like this, private rooms are at a slightly more expensive rate. As far as, I guess, straight, have you kind of made aware who is with you and who is not at the barkeep? If you have, he's, fine giving you guys
Oh,
a
yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, I mean, well, I was
to be
thinking.
fair, you paid.
We paid at the other place.
Yeah, you
so
gave him
I
all
was
that
intending for
money.
us. I was thinking we'd head back to the other place.
Yeah.
I didn't think you gave him enough to cover more than the amount of beers that we had drunk.
Like 4 gold
Hey,
pieces
yeah,
or
you gave
something.
him 4
Yeah, it was-
gold.
the
It was
innkeeper
like
seems
5 silver.
and-
Rather
and it's
generous. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you've definitely noticed that. The innkeeper seems pretty generous after the talk he's had with Straith, so
Okay.
seems happy to. But at the same time, you do notice that this establishment is, while it does provide some modicum of shelter, it's very leaky. You can hear it creaking. Like it's the barrel might not be the only thing broken in the morning.
The other tavern that we were in, he gave that person enough
Yeah.
money
Yeah.
to cover.
Yeah, the
That's
winch,
fair enough.
the winch he dropped down
Okay.
about 5 gold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we're
you're
good
covered
for a
there
while.
for a couple nights probably.
Okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
to lunch.
Yeah, I think we go to the lunch.
Okay, I'll go with the group decision. I was perfectly fine to camp outside of town.
Yeah, just send in the morning. Send him back to the winch. I just
Aye.
yeah.
You might sleep in, just a heads up.
Fair enough. We'll come if we need to. We'll come grab him on our way.
Well, a fantastic evening to you and your lot.
Yes, you too. Good day, sir.
And he
Good
goes back to his business, and one of the drunks stumbles up, and he's just back to his grouchy old self. Just piss off, and then just yeah. So you guys exit the Broken Barrel, head back towards the winch. It is definitely dark outside now. Only the lights of the torches is keeping anything lit. Inside the winch, it's largely quieted down. There's still people drinking, but Reginald's not there. The gambling den has kind of died down for the night. Does it turn in?
I'd say, so, gentlemen, I've got these, so we've got Cora Bright, and she'll give us our supplies in the morning, and, so I say we turn in for a good night, and, reconvene here in the morning, see how, the Maw of Zon has, fared. I suppose we might pick him up.
Yeah, no, we'll definitely have to.
Yes.
Alright, we'll turn in for the night. Good, restful sleep. Early in the morning, you all head down towards to the tavern. Have yourselves some ready breakfast, but you see Maw is already there, just at a table, waiting his food. Looks super relaxed. You know if you've ever seen Maw this relaxed and not preaching about Zon. And you're so relaxed you almost don't see them into the tavern. You'll sit down at the table next to him.
Oh. Praise be to Zon to you, good sirs. I saw the light many times last night.
Ah.
So you had a good time.
Yes, I didn't realize mere people were that nimble.
So what do you think of barrel turning?
I'm definitely going to have to remember the iron belly maneuver to try to recover some. But yes, Satania is very lovely, and we actually swam around the waterfront together for a while. She explained a great deal of things to me. Much to contemplate.
So it was enlightening.
Very
Yes.
good.
Fantastic.
The waitress comes over and he says, "What can I get you all for breakfast? We've got bacon, ham, got some fresh eggs in.
I'll have one of everything.
One of everything. A big appetite for you, huh?
Yes.
Anyone else?
Ham steak for me.
Ham steaks for the dwarf.
Ham steak.
Ham steaks.
I'll take ham steaks.
Ham steaks. Ham steaks all around. Sound good?
Sounds
Right.
fantastic.
Joel, what do you want?
Well,
Very quiet
I'm more
over
of a
there.
bacon and eggs kind of guy.
So speak up.
Ham steaks are fine if it's fine with you.
Ham steaks it is for me.
All right. I'll jot that down. I'll have it after in a jiffy. As you guys are sitting there, kind of enjoying your morning conversation, figure enters into the tavern. Regulator Corin has stopped by. He says, if it isn't my favorite regulators in training, and he sits down. He says, a ham steak and a brown meal love. And he says, so, how was your first day in town? Tell me all about it.
I'm sure Ma has a great story for you.
Yes.
Ma.
Ma has been enlightened.
Enlightened further in the teachings of Zon, have you?
Yes, very much so, and
Zontania.
Zontania? I don't believe I've heard of that before.
yes, she's very...
She.
Yes, a very lovely woman who explained the many methods of winding barrels, breaking barrels, bending over barrels.
Learned all about barrels, did you? He kind of gives you a friendly nudge on the shoulder. He's like, I spent a lot of time there my first time to Falcon as well. He says, how about the rest of you? Did you uncover anything more relating to business, as it were?
Absolutely. We know that the east, there's a few towns out to the east, and I've spoken with the sheriff, acquired a writ for some supplies, and if we head out towards the east, that's where they believe there are some bandits that have been stealing things, and I believe that's a good place to investigate. There's also an old lady, an elderly woman out there who I believe had something broken into. Yes, it's about a day's journey east, from what I recall. So I think our plan is to head that, talk to this Miss Brighton, gather some supplies, and then go east.
Sounds like a good place to start.
Yes.
Well, any other input? Anything I should know?
There was mention to the west of people disappearing, and the roads not being very well lit, and claw marks on people.
Ah, sounds terrifying.
Yes.
Also sounds worth looking into. How are you going to go about this? Do the bandits sound more threatening? The disappearances?
Well,
An important decision for regulators is how to...
Split the party and search in both directions.
Well, at the same time, splitting your party could leave yourselves open to a lot of dangers.
It is very
Well,
true.
we were told that we believe that the bandits and the magic users are one and the same, because there was reference to some of these people being killed to the east with burn marks and some with knives. So we do believe there is magic involved to the east.
So that's obviously where our priority must lie as agents of the Sorcerarian.
At least
Sounds
some.
promising.
Yes. But yes, I mean,
Right then. Well, I'll leave you to it. Remember, if you ever need any assistance, he looks over at Hotfoot and he holds up a stone. I'm just a stone's throw away. He pockets it and he says, and I'll take that to go, love. And she comes out with his veil and he just scarfs it down as he's walking out of the tavern and off in the distance. What you guys like to do?
shall we head over to Cora's?
Yes, we definitely need supplies and maybe some ointment.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, you guys find the general store easily enough. Inside there appears to be a halfling woman, Cora Bright Moon. She seems to be just going about busybody work. It's a little early in the morning for most of her business to pick up. She hears you enter and says, welcome. How can I assist you all? Welcome to Cora's.
Miss Brightmoon, we have been speaking with the sheriff, and he said that you would be able to help us with some supplies. We are going to go east and try to see if we can do something about this banditry problem that you seem to be having. And so I've got this script from the sheriff.
That sounds promising. You mind if I see that?
Absolutely.
She's like, well, he's certainly putting a lot of faith in you lot. What all will you be needing?
Tents at a minimum. We'd love to have horses if we could acquire them, although I'm not sure if those are readily available.
I'm afraid horses are in short supply these days, what with the ranches being hit. Tents I can do. Tents house two. How many will you be needing?
3 tents, and we'll need food supplies, travel safe food for at least 10 days.
I would say.
Okay. You guys do still have a lot of rations. Jor's actually been doing every day. Jor goes through his routine of gathering from the land. You guys haven't hit any food-starved lands or anything yet, so Jor's had a pretty easy time using his background in wandering and druidic stuff and just you're familiar with the land. You're able to provide fairly easily. You still have 10 days of rations, I believe.
Yeah. Do you recommend anything, Miss Brightmoon? Is there anything that you can think of we might want to take with us?
Well, what exactly are you going to be doing?
We'll be murking some bitch.
Well, I don't know where they're camping out, so obviously we'll need the tents. Perhaps light sources of some sort, but be careful about lighting them at night. You could make yourself a target fairly easily.
Well, that would be perfect.
If they're...
We could make ourselves targets.
Interesting idea.
They could be hiding out... if it's caves you're going to be delving, then perhaps lanterns or some ropes to help yourselves traverse caves. Picks. Gonna need more than that.
I think the tents would be good. 3 tents. Are we all good with sharing?
Sure.
Gentlemen?
I'm fine with it.
Do you happen to have any herbs for making simple healing remedies?
Oh, healing potion. I sell the potions directly. I suppose I've got the stuff you could use to make it. How many are you looking to make?
Let's see, for us, maybe at least, I guess one for each of us, at least 6 of them.
Oh, well, I don't know how much one you've got. They don't come cheap, I'm afraid. Even the ingredients themselves are hard to find. The ingredients would run you about 25 gold a pop.
I guess I will do at least one of them.
Okay. Just a moment while I fetch that. She goes, and she has some bags that have specially curated herbs and stuff and ground up. And just most of it's already ground up for you, so you shouldn't have too much preparation to do. Are you familiar with how to work with them?
I do have a kit, but it's been a while since I've actually mixed it in the monastery.
Okay. Well, let's see. Just a moment while I fetch the tents. Let's see. 2-person tents, 3 of them. Normally runs about 6 gold. I can do them for 3.
3 gold piece?
3 gold for the lot. Okay. Is there anything else you'll be needing?
How much is healing potions all around? How many do you have?
I've got about a dozen of them.
How much per?
It's 50 gold apiece.
Can you get them down if we pay for 6?
Make a persuasion check.
Platinum and
20.
50 gold.
20. Just 6 of them. I tell you what, a good word with the sheriff. I'll sell you 6 for 240.
How much gold does everybody?
140 gold pieces.
60 gold off.
That's just doesn't add
If
up.
that's a bit much, I'll sell it. Since you're trying to do good work for Falcon Highlands, I'll sell you an individual for 40.
Does anybody else need one?
I'm fine.
I mean, we each got one, and I'm going to be making one, so.
Tell you, what are the ingredients that you need?
It's like, I couldn't tell you myself. I actually get my supplies from an herbalist down near Bayfar.
Bayfog. That is
The old lady?
That is where we're going. We're going to Bayfar to talk to an elderly lady there who is apparently robbed. Perhaps we could acquire something for you.
Yeah. Well, I don't need anything in particular from her, but if you do, she's a lovely old lady. Her name's Meryl. She's quite good with herbs. Just I don't know. I don't think she has anyone else in her life, so she spends all her time with plants. As sad as that sounds.
I think the 3 tents would be perfect. And there's not anything else. We have kindling, right? We can start fires.
Yeah.
Somebody can start fires. We're good.
Yeah, I got
Got a tinderbox.
Yes, we
Got torches, got
Alright,
Got everything
Somebody's got some magic.
Everything we need.
Alright, I'll go get those for you. And she comes out of the bag and sets them up on the counter. Alright, 3 tents and supplies for healing potions. If there's anything else I can help you with, please let me know.
So now where are we off to?
I think aren't we headed toward
Bayfar?
Bayfar?
Sounds like a good idea.
To a town first.
How many miles can we go a
6
day?
days.
We can go it's a 1 day's journey. All right.
It's 24, you can go 24 hexes across regular terrain in a day. 18 if you're going slow and have advantage on stealth. Sorry, and be able to stealth, or 30, but you take a penalty to perception.
It's a 1 minute. It's 24 exact to go from us to there.
Just ignoring these other towns on the way.
Yep.
Sounds good.
That's where we got to lead. So.
So if you head out now, you can probably hit there by sunset.
How big are these tents? Like,
2-person tents, about 2 by 2, as far as the grid goes.
so we'd be able to carry them.
Actually, let me take that back. They are that big.
Whoa! I mean,
Right.
obviously.
Tents that way Jor wouldn't step on them.
The last time I put something in a tent that big, it glitched out.
Yeah.
It was a little bit smaller.
It was a little bit smaller.
Maybe.
Cool.
That's you
Actually, I guess
on the tent.
here's the group's tents in general.
Oh, wow.
Leave me on the tent.
Now, you see that pelt?
Oh.
That is you.
That's you.
I like how one of them is like super fancy and the rest of them are just like.
Shape it into a pelt?
You.
He can after Jordan gets finished with him.
It's like
It's like he sure can.
Ooh, that's weird.
That's cool.
You could probably scalp him. Just thinking outside the box, you could probably scalp him, take his pelt, and that would not reduce him to. Just thinking.
I'm just imagining
Scalping
he's just
him?
like,
This is a
He
great
opens up
source of
he
income.
turns back
If
to
we
you.
scalp him like every day,
man,
sell the
we
pelt.
have no looking for
skin
a
when he comes back.
fascinating wolf pelt. I have finest wolf pelt you've ever seen. He takes it out. It's just skinned Jor. He's just like, oh shit, that turns back when he turns back.
Here, put your skin back on.
It's nice, dude. It's cut around the eye hole. It's nice for you.
So you did episode of the office.
So I think we're good.
Everyone
So-
setting out?
Are we off,
Yes.
gentlemen?
Yes.
All right. You guys set off into the Falcon Highlands along the east road leading to Bayfar. As you're kind of walking along the road without Corin chatting you ear off, you can definitely feel it's a very temperate climate. You can see lots of arable land out there just waiting to be farmed, and very peaceful once you're away from the hustle and bustle of the city and everyone worrying about bandits and everything. While I prepare the next couple things,
Nobody else paid for the tins, right?
No, we
You
got
paid
those
for
from
them.
the.
Okay, that's what I was making sure of because
yeah.
he didn't take it
I'm
yet.
sorry,
So
I didn't see it there.
was just making sure that like Maud didn't slip him 3 gold or something. I was like,
No, mine just on the desserts.
Why did we pay for the tents again?
Yeah, I thought we
had a writ
writs
from the
for the
sheriff.
tent.
but they
She
weren't.
gave, well, the writ didn't explicitly say free shit.
Yeah.
It was a good word from the sheriff, and she gave you half off. And then no one questioned it. So.
That's fine.
And then no one
And
questioned.
then no one questioned it. I mean, she was going to be pretty insistent on that as far as.
Yeah, no, that's reasonable.
Don't look
I'm
at the
very
horse in the mouth.
I'd have to
to
make a
say
writ.
I want to do an intimidation. Say I've got a writ from the sheriff. Give us the tips, but I decided not to.
I'll pinch your tits!
Rylan, what was his name in
the
the
sheriff.
original campaign that we kept terrorizing?
Oh, Bartham.
Bartham.
Interact.
She literally would have been our secondary Bartham with the start of I'm going to intimidate with cheaper prices.
That was so
Oh, man.
bad.
Oh,
Like to
no,
make
that
extra
was-
money.
Yeah.
God, that was so bad.
No, that was excellent because it helped us all learn that you can't intimidate the shit out of a NPC to giving you free stuff. Like,
Yeah,
Definitely worked out.
you cannot, unless if like the DM is willing to back down to the point where they're just like,
Well, the
okay,
problem-
you know what, fine.
The problem is that he resisted friends right off the bat. Best case, it would have worn off in a minute, and he would have been like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
But then we broke into his home and we slandered his name, and
We did
just
everything.
kept
dude.
going from there. Yeah, it just kept
It
getting
kept-
worse.
yeah, it turned into Bartham was like public enemy number 1.
Yeah.
Even though he'd done nothing wrong.
He done
Yeah, he
nothing
did.
wrong, but we
He didn't
turned
give
him
us extra
entire
One of the
town.
best, actually, I do have to break out of the session for a second here. So they went into the general store, much like you guys did for one of their starting adventures. We need a few basic supplies, and we're turning in some stuff someone wanted delivered. And Angvar, this little gnome warlock, is like, "Hey, can we get a discount on this?" And he's like, no, there's already a pre-written contract from your employer. Like, no, of course not. And he's like, I cast friends. And then the guy rolled a saving throw and made it. And so he's like, did you just try to charm me? And they're like, well, you're fucking, they got aggressive. So that business wrapped up and they went off to the mayor for some shit. And they find the storekeeper, he's like, these rabble-rousers are in town, he's just rattling off to the mayor. And so Meekin, who's Bear, he just says, I march in and I put my hand on Barthen's face and just push him behind me. And so as he does that, and he's like, and I'm right behind him, so he passes him to me and I put my hand on his face and we just push him out the door. And so they push him out the door and then Barthen's like, just being shoved outside. The mayor's kind of like, what is going on? And he says, and then I shut the doors. And I said, and then Barthen, you can see him go up to one of the windows and he goes, and I shut the shutters. And then anytime Barthen appeared later in the campaign, it turned into, fuck this guy, he's such an evil dude.
Yeah.
And he's just a shopkeeper who doesn't know what the fuck's going on and he's pissed off.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, it was good. It was great. So while I set up a couple things for this next scenario, let's get some RP going if we could. Get creative, get imaginative. Inspiration will be rewarded by player vote at the end of it.
So we're on the road. Where are we at here? I feel like we should.
We're on our way here.
You're currently on your way there. You're
say we're
about to
traveling.
split. Yeah.
What the hell is this guy doing? Is that just us?
Marks our party.
There you go.
That's the party.
Perfect.
It's the party.
That's the party. We've made it from there
To there.
to there.
So we're halfway there.
We're halfway there.
That's rare.
So it's halfway throughout the day.
This is truly a beautiful land, very much blessed by Zon. Look how the light has brought all these great fields in there.
You seem rather happy today.
Well, yes, I am, Brother Shadow. I am very happy today.
Good.
Remind me why he calls you Brother Shadow.
They gave me a name at the trial. You were there.
I know, but it's weird, right?
It is weird. I agree.
Not really.
He's used to it.
You don't make it weird. He's being very enduring.
He is being endearing, and I
I'm not
appreciate
saying
him
anything
calling
bad
you
about it.
Shadow.
I'm just saying it's weird because you're supposed to be Maw of the Light, but here you are calling him Shadow.
Well, it was my master Nas who told him that his name from here on is going to be Shadow of Zon.
I mean, if you think about it, the light does cast a shadow. So the source of all shadows is light. In fact, if you're doing dark deeds, you're really serving the light. Because the light casts the shadows and creates the dark. And then the dark becomes an important part of the cycle of Zon.
I like the way this one thinks.
Yes.
I don't fully understand, but I admire your conviction, Brother Hotfoot.
Very well.
So did anybody get any information from the Broken Barrel? Not
You don't know what Ma talks about.
satisfaction information.
Did you happen to get any information out of her while you were...
Did you happen to get any information out of her?
Oh, you're swearing
Apparently,
the way.
mare women can lay up to 30 eggs.
That's good information.
Wait, so...
So,
What did you do in that room?
what did you do with those eggs?
How many little maws are going to be running around the next time we come through? That's what I want to know.
It seems
So,
like...
are you a daddy now?
The seed has been planted.
Father? I don't understand. Like a priest or a master?
Or a mother?
I think she would be the murderer.
Murder.
Oh.
So, Master, could you please enlighten me on...
Whenever...
Yes, tell him about the tadpoles and the eggs.
Of course. Whenever a humor and a femur love each other very much. The humor will fertilize the eggs, and then 9 months later, the femur will want money for the eggs. I
He
think it
knows
takes
what's up.
about that long.
Goblins getting around the block.
Let us hope the next time we go back
Guessing
to
he wasn't always a monk.
I'm guessing you're right.
I better consult Master Ness on this then. I've never been a actual master or father before, so
Mother.
mother.
you might be the master of about 30 of them.
Although I'm actually guessing the murder barrel has things to prevent that sort of thing.
I don't know. These are eggs. It wasn't exactly the normal way. You know, it's not like.
If she's there all the time,
So,
fertilization
wait, hold on,
cycles
imagine.
and-
He's
So what did you do to these eggs?
Fulmer. She's Fulmer.
Did you
So does that make them
Did you-
Fulmers?
Fourthmers.
did you
Yes.
put anything
Second
on
ranks.
them?
Fourthmers.
Yes,
Was it sticky?
Oh dear God!
Greasy.
Please change the subject.
This is getting
please,
out of
so we
hand.
do not need to hear.
Information about bandits.
Great.
Does anyone have any information about the bandits? What do y'all think about putting up lights at night? Anything but this. Anything else?
Try to let nature take its course.
I think nature already took its course, Gray.
Fair enough. The bandits.
As you guys continue walking along, eventually you see there appears to be a small cart manned by a single being being pulled by a donkey, slowly making its way westward. The driver kind of perks his head up as you guys are approaching, and he quickly hops off the side of the cart. You can see he's kind of setting some stuff up as you approach. He's a hooded figure. You can see he's got kind of a furry muzzle as you all approach, and he's just like, "Welcome, welcome to Mayuk's Cart of Wonders. Tell me, my friends, what ails you in life? How can I help you? Take a look at my many fascinating items. I'd be happy to assist you." And he sees Quentin with your teared up robes, and he's like, "Oh, terrible, terrible cuts in your robes, worn, frayed to shit. Look, my Mayuk has fantastic robes that you can use that repair themselves over the day." You see, and he picks up this robe, and he just tears a rip in it, and he says, "By tomorrow morning, be good as new, brand new. You won't even know it was ever torn. By the way, does anyone have the time? No? With this you could. This orb will tell you the time of day by simply looking at it."
Wait, are you saying that thing actually speaks?
No, it's more of a feeling you have.
So, like, when the sun's hottest in the middle of the day, I feel like it's the middle of the day. You tell me this rock does the same type of thing.
Well, there's lots of ways to tell what time it is, but with this orb you wouldn't have to use
So,
those methods.
so cool.
What's the difference?
Can you show me how it works? Can I see?
Yes, absolutely. He says, "Here, take this in your hand," and he hands you the orb. And as far as you can tell, it's just an orb. It's just you're
Don't
not
see
quite
anything.
sure.
Where's the magic?
And he kind of looks over. He's like, kind of furrows his brow and he's like, "Well," and he kind of gets up next to you, looks over. He's like, "You see it? You see the sun reflecting off the orb?"
Yes.
He's like, "Well, now if there's no sun, it's not daytime."
You know,
He's like, "It usually works better than that. Here, let me find something else." He says, "How about," he says, "I can tell you have an interest in all things magical, my friend."
I do.
And he says,
You're right. How did you
have
know that?
Something that's because my Mayuk knows what you want. I have a very special item. It is a hat of wizardry. By wearing this hat, it will allow you to cast magic, even if you've never cast magic before. And he pulls out a wizard's hat. And he says, "Now,"
I want it. How much is it?
he says, "This hat, I will let it go for the fair price of 50 gold pieces."
Only 50 gold pieces?
Gold?
What a
No, no,
deal!
no, no.
No, this is great. I'll finally be able to cast magic.
We don't have 50 gold pieces.
Let me see.
all intents and
I'll make
purposes,
it.
can
I'll
I
make a
roll
deal
an
with you.
insight check on him?
What's your insight bonus?
Bonus?
Yeah.
4. Probably.
So Scrape looks at this guy, makes eye contact with him, with very knowing eye contact. You know,
8.
sir, that is a very nice hat. It's pretty. It's well stitched. I would deem it worth about a gold. Wouldn't you say so?
Not at all, not at all. He says, well, I've never actually used it myself, but
Right.
he's like, well, it's.
Look, do you want to do business with us further?
He's like, why? He says, you seem upset, friend. I know exactly what you need.
No.
He says,
Right, we don't.
Do not change the subject here.
He said, no,
I would be glad to give you
hear
one gold
Mayuka.
piece for the hat for my friend.
I am so sorry, my friend, but Mayuk cannot give you a hat for a mere gold piece. But allow me to show you the quality of my wares. Perhaps what you need is a pip in your step, a smile on your face. And he digs around and pulls out a small wand. He says, this wand will put a smile on anybody's face. And he lashes at the donkey. Now, donkey's, it's a big grin on his face. He says, see how happy she is, just with a single flick of the wand. And he's like, does this not interest you? Let it go for
It interests me.
That hat would put a bigger smile on all of our faces if our friend Hotfoot here was wearing it.
What?
Look, what will you let the hat go for?
I will let him try on the hat for free.
Yes, let me try it on.
Yeah, you try it on. He says, now, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, it does require a period of attunement. Are you familiar with attunement, my friend?
Not really. I've heard of it, but
Some
nobody
magic
would train me
items.
long enough to actually understand how it worked.
Some magical items require a period of inner focus. You and the item becoming one with another, becoming in tune with one another. That's why they call it attunement. And at the end
How
of
long
this
does it
period,
take?
about an hour.
Long enough for you to get down the road, eh?
Mayuk is a very busy person. I simply must be on that.
Mayuk, let's table to talk about the hat. What else do you have for us that might be of use?
I have, and he digs around and he pulls out.
That you've used and can demonstrate
that
on the spot.
I've used and can demonstrate on the spot. Fantastic. Well, if you're not a fan of my wand of smiles, I have something else you might like. And he puts, he goes on the back and he puts on the cloak and he steps on the side. And he's like, behold! And the cloak is like billowing in the wind. It's pretty fancy. There's no wind, you notice. So the cloak, it is billowing in the wind. And he's like, impress anyone with this cloak of billowing. Make yourself look epic whenever you desire.
I always look epic. Look at me. I've got feathers. Do you have feathers?
That you do, my friend, but perhaps some of your less fashionably inclined friends might benefit from it.
Mayuk, if I could, can I talk to you behind your wagon?
I suppose so. Follow me, friend. He goes around the backside of the wagon. Do you want to do this here, or do you want to do this up there?
No,
Okay,
right here. Mayuk, do you have anything for this?
And Mayuk kind of looks, and he's like, "Ooh, it doesn't look good. That itches, yes."
Very much so.
Mayuk can put a smile on your face, but you should see a doctor.
Zombie with you.
I am back, friends. No worry,
Seems like we've got a deal. I'll keep the hat until it's attuned, and then you can come and find me and collect your 50 gold.
Seems fair.
I'm afraid.
Everyone agrees? We all agree, right? We all agree.
Afraid
Great.
that is
It's
no
good.
way.
Okay, well, we'll see you later.
No,
We'll be on our way.
but-
Thank you.
Would you
Goodbye.
perhaps like one gold piece for the hat?
I want my money for that. 50 gold pieces, like we discussed.
We discussed 2 gold pieces. Final offer.
Mayu cannot let such a fantastical hat go so easily.
Okay. Cheerio.
Says, I don't take my hat back, please.
We walk off.
What? I will speak to the Reeve about this.
The who?
He said, 2 gold is not the Reeve.
Who is the Reeve? Wait.
Out of
wait.
character. Out of character. The Reeve is kind of the local person in power. The lands are owned by some noble, often some other land, but the Reeve is kind of the appointed governor of the lands who's stationed in Falcon. The one who's in charge of the day-to-day politics and whatnot.
Okay. So we wouldn't.
Well, I mean, it's still, this is all happening really quickly, so he says that now that he's kind of threatened to bring the Reeve.
What is the Reeve's name?
You're the kid better knows.
When was the last time you saw this Reeve? Because we just came from town.
Mayuk is very good.
Actually, you know what I think we ought to do is we ought to take him before the Reeve.
That's
I
a
think
great
that's a-
idea.
Let's do that. Yes, my good friend, you can come with us to the Reeve. Come along.
Mayuk, he seems confused. He's like, Mayuk has no issues with this, especially if you will not return Mayuk's hats. Shall we go?
Let's go. Let's go to the Reeve.
Very well.
Wait. First, before we go to the Reeve, we have some business in Balfour.
That's true.
Bayford?
You'll come along with us to Bayford,
How much
and
you
then we'll
accompany us
take you
to
to the
Bayford?
Reeve.
I've just come from Bayford, and they have no interest in Mayuk's wares. Who would have thought? I tell you what, though. And he pulls up a map of his. He says, I will be making a loop through here, and he kind of gestures to the towns on the far side. I'll be going through Edford, the Bershaw, the Balin. I will be passing back through Falgin in 4 days' time.
And you'll pick up your hat then.
What? That is no way to do business. At least
4
a down
days.
payment.
4 days, you say?
Oh, certainly, 1 copper.
How often?
What?
How often do you make this route?
I don't work just in these highlands. Mayuk travels all over the world to sell his fantastical wares. I plan on packing up and leaving for good in about 9-10 days time.
Do they give you a type of nickname around here?
Mayuk is not a fan of nicknames. Mayuk would rather deal with true names.
My insight was a +1.
So, you're having a hard time getting a beat on this guy. So far, the only thing you've confirmed, or at the very least that you can't see through, is the cloak of billowing. It's like, that actually was a little impressive. The rest of his items, he definitely is giving off this terrible con man vibe. Just anyone can feel that. But
Except me, I think he's on the level.
yeah. But at the same time, it's like, you can't quite catch him in a lie yet or anything. So.
The only reason I'm even pushing is because I trust Scrape.
Okay. Was there? Did you? I forget where we were at before. Change the subject real quick.
We were just.
He describes his time. Yeah, he describes he'll be leaving
Yeah.
about 9 or 10 days time from this region.
Yeah.
But he'll be back in Falcon in about 4 days time.
I can offer you the same 2 gold that has already been offered
He's
as
like-
a down payment, and you can
He's
have the
like-
hat back after your 4 days.
He's like, Mayuk,
if we don't choose to buy it,
Mayuk
and
cannot
return
in good
us the
faith
gold pieces.
give something away for free, but perhaps we can make a trade. Perhaps, and he gets a gleam in his eyes that almost seems menacing, and he looks at you and he says, perhaps you or your friends knows a secret. And you can almost see his mouth salivating at this bizarre request. He really wants to know a secret that no one else in the world knows, save for you and your friends.
Actually, I do have a secret, and I would be willing to share it to you in even trade for the hat full.
As a Tabaxi needs coin to live, unfortunately. Secrets cannot be traded for food. Consider the secret a down payment, at the very least, collateral. If for some reason we do not meet again in Falcon, then Mayuk can keep your secrets.
I will expect you to keep our secret, regardless of whether we meet again or not.
Oh, but you may misunderstand, my friend. In my culture, a secret is a thing shared with someone and is to be shared with no one else unless it is mine to keep. And once it is mine to keep, it is then mine to share. But the secret must be of worthy value, or you will simply show that you are being dishonorable to me. So tell me, what is your secret?
My secret is, I don't have 50 gold.
And he just
Nobody else
like,
knows that.
He's like, this is
All right,
this
deal.
is not good
Good to
secret.
go.
This is not good secret. And he starts rattling off in his native tongue, and he seems very displeasurable. And he says, he's just going off, right? You can't even make out what he's saying. He's very angry, certainly pissed off.
Is there anything you notice about this guy? He doesn't have like claws or anything like that.
Yes.
If you make a perception check, even a base one will reveal that he appears to have very feline features, fur all over his face. He's definitely got claws at the end of his fingers. What was your perception check?
8.
You know you've heard of this race before, but you can't quite place it right now.
Cozy up next to him.
And he's like, what do you want?
I have a secret that you might very well be interested in.
He's like, he takes a second, he's like, get hopeful, he's just like, really wants this to be a good secret, but he's worried it's going to be another disappointment.
Us as a traveling band, we come from the Sorcerarium.
His eyes kind of pop wide, he's his hand.
And if you'd like to continue peddling your wares in this region, you will give us the hat. Otherwise, we can easily turn you into the Sorcerarium for selling dark magic.
Make a... Oh man, okay. Intimidation check. With disadvantage.
You guys
he's not selling anything.
That's fine. I'll
Okay.
take that with no issue.
Y'all have some issue with shopkeepers, man.
3 and a 2
And you're gonna fucking replace it.
with the 16.
Wait, can you... Oh, fuck, you can't. Yeah, you can.
In a day.
Wait, what are you replacing it with?
With a 16.
Okay.
And what did you say? A what check?
Intimidation.
So it's going to be a 18.
And okay, he definitely seems more enraged, but at the same time, he's like, now that you're getting even false law threats involved in this, he's just like, he starts to snap, and he's just like, he bats your arm off, and he's just fucking keep the hat and he just hits the dog, he just takes off.
I call out to him as he's leading. By the way, if I'm not doing magic in an hour, we'll be seeing the Reeve.
And yeah, he's still mouthing
He's
up.
gone.
Yeah, he's just...
No, that's okay. I was just calling that out to him as he leaves.
Alright, well you
Got
are
a bad
now...
feeling about this.
Perfect.
You are now the proud owner of a new, fancy-looking wizard hat with a wide brim, wavy
Oh yeah,
hat.
I'm wearing it.
It's got some,
Now you gotta get that
arcane
drawn.
designs stitched on the side. It's a fine hat.
Can I hold it perhaps? Look at it?
Yeah. So straight.
Sure, you can hold it.
If
Go
I
ahead, Scrape.
if I oh sorry, that's good.
Amazing.
As soon as you touch the hat strafe, you innately know that this is a magical hat, and that it has magic properties. You may not know exactly what those are yet, but yeah, the hat is magical in nature.
It's the same.
Good
Hat,
hat,
to
If
identify
I
it.
cast a
Alright.
ritual, does that absorb components?
What are you casting?
Identify.
It doesn't. Well, identify doesn't consume components. You do have to have the components, but they're reusable. So that 100 gold pearl
Yeah.
is a one-time thing, and then you just reuse it over and over and over. Even with a ritual, you still have to have it.
Okay, I wasn't. That's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if ritual required the items.
It does require
Okay, perfect. Good to know for the future. I do not have the items, so cool.
expensive.
Shit's not really expensive. It's hard out here for a wizard.
So do you have the hat right now?
No, I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah.
He gave it back to me. I put it back on my
Back
head.
on.
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
wearing that. sucker.
Go ahead
Oh, sorry.
and
break the whole table.
under, for now,
Uh-huh.
under your inventory, just go to, I think there's like an other possessions. Just put it on that list for now.
Okay. Yep.
Magical.
Super legit wizard hat.
Definitely a wizard hat.
All right.
Might have magic.
What do you guys do?
Keep going.
Onward,
That
knaves!
was quite the distraction.
Do you guys think the claw on this fellow, Marduk or whatever,
Marmaduke, yes.
Marmaduke,
Yeah, that was his name.
like the West, right? The guys in the West have all the claw marks on them. Do we think they're related?
I don't know. He got pretty mad at us, and he didn't bring out his claws for that.
But there was 6 of us.
We technically
That's
stole
true as
from
well.
him and he didn't
Well,
attack.
we gave him secrets.
Yeah.
He walked off, not us.
A man with that much anger should not have magic around him.
Maybe you should introduce him to Zatanna.
She would definitely take the match. She would take his aim.
As the sun begins to set, you guys in the distance can see a thick copse of trees that is detailed on your map. You know you're approaching where Bayfar is on the other side. The scent of fish hits your nostrils heavily.
Whoa!
Smelt that last night.
Smells like moth!
As you begin entering the forest, it turns out that your little affair with Mayuk has taken a little bit more time. It's starting to get dark outside before you guys enter the forest. So you still have a couple miles of forest to traverse as the last bit of light goes out. It is now pitch black.
I'm gonna strike some tinder, light a torch.
Okay. Try some tinder, light a torch.
We probably should have been lighting these beacon things as we go. Let's start lighting torches.
Like
Well, aren't they fine in the east? I thought they were only a problem in the west.
It's mostly to the west.
Yeah.
Most.
Yeah, nothing here is like quite clear cut. Like here's the border of bandit activity. Here's the border. It's just kind of like it's largely here, but it kind of leaks out everywhere.
Let's light the torches along the way.
We're already
Only be
there.
about 2 left.
One in the fullest.
You guys gonna continue through the darkness?
So I'm not letting a torch on. I'm leaving it on. I don't care.
Yeah, we'll continue forward.
That's it.
Yes.
One torch probably not for the
Onward.
group.
Okay. I guess we didn't actually establish the marching order here. You guys are on a road, so there's no need for navigation. I guess everyone is it unless anyone has a reason not to be.
I think
so
that's our
everyone-
order. Scraith's out front. Hotfoot Maw.
That works. Everyone's cool with that. Everyone's
Just- I'll be in the front.
Scraith?
Yeah, that's what I was
There's double
like.
Scraith, actually.
Oh shit!
Oh shit! Did I grab the wrong one? Who's missing? Clinton?
me.
That's
Yeah.
great.
You're right here. Haha. 2 Scraiths.
Put them in the back.
Sorry, what?
Nice.
This is fine, except none of it's fine.
Well, this is the wrong one, so.
Oh shit! I thought I had a
Oh,
double-sided
that's-
one of him.
That's right, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not that important. Rather, I want everyone to roll a perception check at disadvantage unless you have dark vision.
Which 4 do I take?
Go ahead.
Whichever one's lowest.
Okay.
The lower ones.
The lower 4.
18.
It's a D7.
Uh,
8.
7.
16.
you just get your hat on, you're just the top of the world.
Just cruising.
Yeah.
This is Matt. Wait, wouldn't you be attuned to this by now?
Probably.
It's a period of like resting in attunement. It's not just like walking and like marching
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
quite coincide.
I think I said an hour, but come on.
Right, who believes Maruk?
The liar.
It's Mayuk.
Mayuk.
Jork.
What a Maruk.
Yeah, right.
12.
And
Oh, 7.
We see into the future.
Hotfoot, as you're sitting there enjoying your new hat, you keep checking the brim and everything, and as you look up, you start noticing that there's like thick spider webs in the trees as you guys are marching through. And as you notice this, you see there's currently 2 giant spiders kind of spindling down right next to your party members who do not seem to have noticed. As you're going to shout out a warning, everyone roll initiative. Actually, you know what? We're going to save this one for next time because it's 11:20. I just noticed. So this combat will start off next time. But Hotfoot, you were the only one not surprised.
Okay.
Really?
Oh, sorry, what did you do?
18.
Oh, I think you said 8. I'm sorry. Joda, you noticed. I heard it. I'm sorry. You're too short. You can't see shit.
I can see everything just perfectly fine.
Giant spiders, huh? Gonna see 3 giant spiders real soon.
Well, I better shoot all 3 of them. I'm gonna destroy the one that's closest to us. Yeah, I already put him back in here.
Oh, okay.
Oh no! Which giant spider are we gonna attack?
I don't know. Do you have any marks when you actually do your stuff?
I don't think so. I guess I'll turn into a tiger instead.
Does anyone actually know?
Okay, guys, I feel like it is incumbent upon us to badmouth, run down, and ensure that the good name of Mayuk is completely destroyed on this area from now on.
I like the idea.
He said he
that-
travels. We can destroy his name in multiple areas.
I like the idea of adding on the tagline of that he's a liar because he lied about most of his wares. So Mayuk the liar. Wait, what was his name? Mayuk.
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 It's spelled
Mayuk?
M''AUQ.
Mayuk the liar. Sounds like a excellent
My Uke or your Uke?
name for him.
My Uke or your Uke?
Your Uke.